think we're live. I hit the button.
5,
What's the delay on this again?
4,
Anyway.
3,
Like 5 seconds?
2,
Yeah. I
and
don't know. Maybe.
we are live.
All right. We're live. And welcome, everybody, to yet another episode of Game Set Live. We have the...
Also known as the KY Bobby Show. Go ahead.
yeah, the KY Bobby Show.
Are you the host now?
What? I'm trying to go through my intro. Will you shut up?
Nope.
Oh, we've got the, as you can tell, we've got the usual band of ruffians here on the panel, and we have a special guest tonight. Let's start with that special guest, because he got a lot of likes and a lot of get well, Colt.
Ooh,
Today on...
okay.
Yeah. I used to think I was young and energetic, but no, I'm not. But I'm doing good. I've got my arm in a sling, and I am. I guess I'm alive. What else can I say about it? It's just how it is.
Now, if I understand correctly, it was a spin juke. And
yeah, I mean, I was trying to get to the end zone, and I did your usual, juke to the right, back foot, reverse spin to get around the defender, and I went down on my left arm, like straight armed into the ground. It happened so fast, and I was like, "Wow, that really hurt." And I was playing with my son and some, 15 through 17-year-old kids, and then a couple of adults, and pride was completely smashed. But yeah, I mean, I sat there for a minute, and I knew when kind of a little bit of nausea set in. I'm like, this is not good. And then I was like, oh, I better get home. Can somebody drive me? Because I don't think I should drive. And one of my buddies, who's a physician, he looked at me, he goes, you ain't going that way. You're going that way. And he pointed towards the hospital that's like a mile away from where we were. And so that was it. Other than sitting in the ER waiting room, because this happened at like 7 o'clock at night, I had to go to the ER. And sat in that room just like my buddy put me in a wheelchair, and I sat there like a sad old has-been, just in so much pain and just waiting. Like, don't you cry, you son of a gun. You're not like a PlayStation fan. You are not going to cry today.
God damn.
Oh, gosh.
And so, yeah. After that, the doctor just said, hey, we're going to knock you out, and you're not going to remember anything. I said, great, let's do it. And so I went home last night, like 10:30, and I'll never be the same.
Yeah.
So you saw that picture.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's just sum this up. So Colteastwood just decided to play as Marshall Lynch, and it didn't work out. So yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
See, I pictured in my head you doing one of those get up real quick, look at everybody, and everybody's jaws have dropped, and you're like, I'm fine, I'm okay. And as soon as you turn your head, you say to yourself, I'm not okay. This is bad.
I did. When I've done a lot of sports growing up, and when you get hurt, you got to get right up, because if it's not serious, you don't want to lay there like a pansy. And I started to get up, and I moved my arm. I was like, ooh, that's not good.
Look, Colt,
and they said, are you all right? And I said, I don't think so. And anyway, hate to be one of those guys that gets hurt on the field and ruins everybody's fun, but I certainly did ruin everybody's fun.
Look, Colt, be honest, man. You got hurt by deflecting all the pony stupidity this past week. That's what happened.
I mean, I worked hard. I made like 4 memes yesterday on Twitter. So, I did wear something out.
Boy, the dummies are coming out in droves again right now. Let me tell you, it's like, oh boy.
So,
Sorry.
other than
some real stuff. The 30 he got hurt though, but at the same time, that happens when you're over 45, and you're going out to try to prove to young kids that you still got it when we know we don't, because it's happened to me before too. But you got to show them, at least some highlight stuff. I just want to ask, please tell me it's recorded somewhere.
Nope, I don't think so. I wasn't fortunate enough to have it recorded. Yeah. No, it was a good move. I mean, I'm pretty sure I look good. Sure I look good. Yeah. Because the funny thing is, like, I'm like 76 years old, but the problem is for anybody who's, not 30, right? Your body and your mind remembers how to do all the moves.
Yes. Yep.
But you can't do, like, I knew all the muscle
Yeah.
memory. I did the step juke, move the hips, upper body, torso moves,
Yep.
legs go this way. I did the reverse spin, and then I tried to miss the tag because we were playing tag football, and that's when I like lurched myself toward the ground, and yeah. Anyway, yeah, it just felt like I just took my arm and shoved it into my shoulder as hard as I could. It was great. It's fantastic, but I'm good.
So, other than the
Kinda
injury, Colt Eastwood, sir, we now know how you've been doing. What games have you been playing?
I've been playing a ton of Fortnite and Star Wars Battlefront 2 with my kids, and a little bit of Borderlands 2. And I've kind of been on a little gaming sabbatical lately because I didn't get into the beta for Diablo. And I tried Wolong, and I tried, what was another game that recently came out that just didn't catch me?
Goodness.
I mean, I finished everything else, but yeah, I'm just kind of in a holding pattern right now for some of the games that like aren't super my thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, Fabio, MRM, sir, how have you been doing, and what have you been playing?
God damn it, that's how you try to say my last name. Like, I just heard
I'm
you
gonna
say
try and
M,
pronounce it a different way
like,
every week until I get it
I'm
right.
just, like, I just heard MRM. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was trying that too. I was like, wait, am I right? Mueller? I didn't get it. So I didn't know where it was going with that either.
That's it. That's exactly my last name.
So, what have you been playing? How you been doing? And what's the weather like in Brazil?
So, in Brazil, it's hot as fuck. Air conditioner is the best thing in the world. I've been doing great. Thankfully, I am here on the right time. Thank you very much. And what I've been playing was basically just Halo Season 3 because I've been having so much fun with this new season, to be honest. I think like it's the it's the beginning of hope for Halo Infinite, honestly. And so far I'm just waiting for new stuff to drop on Game Pass, and Jesus fuck Christ, I cannot wait for Hellblades after the video that Ninja Fury just revealed.
Ah, all right, Mr. Bushido in 7, sir. How are you doing? This is the first week where you haven't had a hospital visit in between shows, so I'm kind of pumped about that. I hope you are too. How are you doing now, and what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Wild Hearts. I'm actually falling in love with that game. I know a lot of guys don't play too much of the Monster Hunter type games, but I do. I love anything with loot in it. You do a good job with loot, and you got me until I've gotten every piece of loot in the game. And even then, if you keep doing a good job, I'll still keep going. The other thing is I've been playing a little bit of Atomic Heart. I had to get back on top of that. I haven't finished it. I think I did mention I finished Hi-Fi Rush. Well, I guess for the show, we'll talk about the Unreal thing because that was pretty dope this week. And that's about it. And I'm waiting for Resident Evil tomorrow. That's what it is. There you go.
Oh yeah. I think.
Oh wait, real quick. I remember a few years ago, Resident Evil 7. Somebody was streaming it, and I'm watching them. And
Somebody?
Somebody. Yeah, somebody. I don't remember who it is anyway. So the part where the girlfriend comes up and he walks in the room and the girlfriend comes up out of nowhere. And my man goes, and I'm not going to lie. I'm watching it and I jumped too, but I didn't want to admit to it. But I laughed even harder because the other person jumped. I don't remember who it was who was streaming that, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe Dealer and Darge were sitting there on the party chat laughing at that fool. Yeah. I go back and watch that clip just to hear Dealer's authentic like I've lost it laugh. It just slays me when he just starts laughing. Yeah, that's
I only was able to laugh after I jumped. I'm not even gonna lie. And then when I went to play it myself and that happened, it still scared me because I forgot about it. And I was like, yo, I can't believe you let that scare you after you saw Colt jump from it and laughed at him. I said, I'm not saying nothing, but I had to
Love
this
that
time
clip.
because I jumped too.
I love it.
Mr. Noof Nukem, sir, how
Yes,
have you
sir.
been? You've had a very, very eventful week on Twitter, I've seen, sir. How are you doing? And tell us, what have you been playing?
Well, otherwise, I'm pretty good. I'm great. What I've been playing, a little bit of everything. Some Fortnite, been playing some Resident Evil 2, the remake, because I'm trying to get back into that and kind of get brushed up on my Resident Evilness. And what was it, Horizon, Call of the Mountains. So trying to finish that off. I've been dabbling with a lot of stuff, man. Kind of all over the board right now. So backlog is still there, still totally existent, and yeah, just a bunch of everything, and super excited as well for the new Horizon Forbidden West DLC.
Yeah, that's right. DLC. Ultimates
That's right.
Gaming, sir. How have you been? What have you been playing?
I've been good, my friend. Just playing an oldie but a goodie, the original Mass Effect right now. Never played it before. I played all the other ones. I just haven't played it. So I am doing a full
Just say it.
playthrough.
Oh,
getting
say
it
it's
finished.
not
I know.
so.
I can't
I
believe you
know
just
it's blasphemy.
Original
Wait,
or the
can
remaster?
I interview you for a second?
Oh my god.
I want to interview you for a
that's the
second because you're
popcorn.
playing it for the first time. How far into are you?
Right now, I did a lot of the side quests, so I'm like on this one of the second main missions after you become a Spectre.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what do you think of it? Because it's an ancient game, but they slightly improved the feel of it,
Yeah.
just slightly.
Yeah, so playing on the Legendary Edition has been great. You know, there's only so much you can do with a game that was designed for the original Xbox, let's just be honest. But what they've done is great. I know there was a lot of issues originally, not having any really. I think a lot of the options, I like that a lot more in this, because Mass Effect 1 just seems a bit more. Seems like it just has, how I describe it, it just has more to the world. It just feels like there's a lot more to it. Now, Mass Effect 2 and 3 are great. But I think 1 just went like above and beyond for everything. I mean, this is the game that got
It's a
the
real
series going.
RPG. Yeah, it's a real RPG.
Yeah.
It's a true
Yeah,
RPG.
It's true, you know, the exploration and on the different planets and all that. I like that a lot more than what we got in the later games, because this is just very, you know, kind of explore a little bit, while the, you know, later games are more linear. Not like they weren't as good, they weren't good, but I like that experience more. Truly, it's still a great experience. All these years later, in some cases you could really see where it's aged, but other than that, it's great. I'm really enjoying it. I want to see what happens, because when I first played the series, I started on Mass Effect 2, and just because I was just I think I got a free copy somewhere. This was years ago. And so I really just didn't really know the story, but I loved it, and now I want to just do a full playthrough from beginning to end, and do it that way. But I'm loving it. I really am. You know, the gameplay is always great in Mass Effect, so.
Yeah.
I forgot how young you are. That's what got me at first until you started speaking. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He's still a kid. So I mean, I don't mean it.
That's true.
Like that,
Technically an
as an
adult
older guy.
by
Yeah.
law.
Yeah, I'm junior here, mate.
By law.
Yeah, I'm the junior.
But I'm proud of you though. Still
I
in,
love
getting
old
into it and
games.
everything. So
Love
don't
old games,
no. Listen, you could just say classic games. Don't use the old word. You know.
If it's 20 years old, then it's earned the right to be old. I'm just gonna be honest.
Now you're being
I'm
disrespectful.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Now
I'm
you've
kidding,
done
but
it.
since you made the comment, no,
Now
they're
you've done it.
classics. They really are. They're some of the best we've ever had, and I don't think you could ever really recreate that truly. But it's been a great experience. I can't wait to finish it and then go on to my favorite Mass Effect 2, and keep going. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
I tell you
Same.
what, you never know what you're
Absolutely.
going to get on GameSet Live. We have just had a new Mass Effect player interview by Colteastwood of all people.
Live and on set.
I mean, it's like my favorite game ever.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and playing it on the Series X 2 years ago was like probably one of the best experiences I've had on the new consoles, and it's an ancient series. So yeah, I just love hearing people experience it for the first time. Makes me happy.
Ultimus Gaming, if you could you please go into your Discord settings and raise your levels a little bit? You're quiet. Just a little
Really?
bit.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he wasn't even in the yellow on my side. Everybody else is
Yeah,
good,
it's
but he's a little
fine
quiet.
to
The
me, like,
settings have been weird on here. I'll mess with it. It's just it might be my mic or the software. It's been a little weird lately. I'll fix it.
Well, with the intros out of the way, this is KY Bob, and thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Game Set Live. Got a little bit of a mixed match gameplay on the screen for you. We start out, I've got 3 cuts from Diablo IV, the closed beta. One from the beginning, one from the middle, and one towards the end. And those are separated by 2 different matches from the EXOPRIMAL beta this past weekend, and then I finish it off at the very end of the last Diablo clip with 11 minutes of Lies of P 4K gameplay. And then it loops back around, so anybody who joins in the second hour will look like they just joined the show and are seeing the gameplay from the very beginning. But again, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, tell a buddy or two. Some shout outs to our chat. We've got Brando Calrissian, Palpatine, Thember. I want to shout out to Thember. He is our lone channel moderator that isn't a member of the crew, isn't a member of the show. He really does. He's very active in the chat. He holds it down. He keeps all the ruffians out of there. Laura Hinkle. I don't know why Laura Hinkle keeps coming back, but we thank you for coming back.
Hey, wait. You won't say that with me here, you son of a fucking bitch.
Okay, Laura, that is Fabio's special other. So it was a joke, Fabio.
Respect.
But again, Palpatine and yeah,
Not with a K.
Red
respect.
Wolf showing up in the chat. Always happy to see Red Wolf.
Hey, Red. What's going on, bro?
Red.
Mac Bound in the chat. Mac Bound and Red Wolf. I believe we'll actually. I think me and Bushido are on their podcast next Tuesday.
Are we?
We are. I do believe.
You need to talk about that because you didn't refer that with me with my agent, but okay.
Good to know that Bushido keeps the track of things. Like, it's very important.
Okay.
My man is Mac Down. I hope the little guy is doing well, little Mac, and I know last time I talked to him, he said he was in the hospital. Gary bring him home, so I hope he's doing well now. So, but it wasn't nothing horrible. Just don't want to speak about somebody else's medical thing. But you know, the little guy, hopefully he's doing well. Well, I haven't talked to him since yesterday, so.
Shout out to Gray Modad in the chat also. And with that out of the way, we'll get into our topics. So, first topic we got, there has been the senators are getting involved now on the FTC thing. We've had Senator Catherine Cantwell. She comes out, she speaks.
Maria Cantwell. I'm from Washington State. I've heard her name for 30 years.
Oh,
she's been around a while.
Sorry, I copied and pasted. And
Washington Democrat Maria Cantwell for office.
She speaks out about Sony's unleashed actions allowed by the Japan FTC. How they're allowed to have 98% and pay developers for exclusivity and everything. So it looks like this is really, it's on a global scale now. The FTC here in the States just may do it to spite Japan because of what they've let Sony get by with. It's crazy. Anybody, Mr. Bushido, sir, did you see this? What do you think?
I'm not sure what to think because here we go again. They say it's like I don't like to assume without enough information as to why and what and everything. But the part about them being allowed to have 98%, I didn't know, or I've forgotten that aspect of it. But man, I mean, what you gonna do, man? I'm actually really just tired of the whole conversation and just want it to be over. That's all I really want. Listen, even if it didn't go through, I just want it to be over. It looks like it's gonna go through. Like the longer it goes along, the higher the percentage goes. But it's like I just want it to be over with completely, so we could start talking about possibilities and something really exciting besides Sony said this and then the regulators are saying that. So yeah, that's all I really got for today.
Okay. Yeah. I'm good
At least
with
with that subject.
I'm good with that.
Wait for the other stuff.
Noof Nukem, sir. You I think a lot of you, Noof, because I see what you put on Twitter.
In a good or bad way?
Oh no, in a good way. Because what I see Noof putting on Twitter about channels and shows that he wants to start on his YouTube channel and whatnot. I really think that me and him are cut from the same cloth. I try and drive this show as if it's not, a toxic Xbox show. I really want to appreciate gaming from all angles. And I think Noof is really trying to do that. And he's getting a lot of backlash from the community just because he's saying that, hey, a lot of PlayStation shows are really toxic against Xbox. What's wrong with me starting a PlayStation show that doesn't crap on Xbox? It's almost a unicorn in the room at this point. I mean, I'd watch it. So Noof is probably, besides myself being one of the more unbiased people in the room, what do you think about we're getting senators involved in this now and it's turned into a global deal? Is our FTC going to take the higher road and allow this thing?
Like I said, not to beat the horse to death, man, but look, it's the whole Activision thing is very central to Sony. I mean, obviously because Call of Duty in particular is their meal ticket, right? And Xbox is threatening to take away that meal ticket essentially. We know it's all about marketing, it's all about perception, it's all about how they're perceived, and of course Sony still puts a lot of weight into the sales of their consoles and driving more people to their ecosystem, so in turn it gives them better sell-through, and again they keep pushing that. But at the same time, like, there's no question about it. I'm not saying that both companies have not been guilty of some underhanded tactics over the years, and we certainly know that Microsoft's far evolved from, perhaps the old evil Microsoft that a lot of people that they garnered a reputation for years ago. Microsoft is obviously all in on Game Pass and certainly all in on getting games to more people and making, at the end of the day, more money. And they see Call of Duty in the same way. They know that's also their cash cow. I mean, it's a big marketing tool. It's going to help drive sales of Game Pass exponentially, I'm pretty sure. But again, the plan isn't to take anything away from Sony. It's just, again, to up their numbers. I think a lot of people are starting to see through some of the BS right now. I mean, with all the documents coming out and some of the quotes and so on and so forth, I think it's starting to come to light now that there's a lot of bias here. There's a lot of nonsensical arguments, and when you do start looking at some of the documents that are coming out, you start going like, man, yeah, they're taking it a bit too far, and it's and it's in the best interest also of an American company. Not that should always mean a whole lot, but just like Japan likes to protect its own, America's got to protect their own too. You know what I mean? So I don't have a ton to say. I'm not educated enough to really go too deep in on this. I'm just tired of the whole thing. I totally understand why Sony's so against it, but I mean, like I said, if Nintendo was willing to to part ways, and I know they're a little bit different, but still, the bottom line is, it's like they're so far apart. You know what I mean? So hopefully this stuff soon comes to an end, and we can just move on and move forward. Because I just think Sony's being very immature about the whole thing, and Sony's still going to be fine with or without Call of Duty. Again, if they have the so-called proclaimed talent that they bolster all the time, all these great studios, you'd think that someone would come up with a very good competing product. Well, don't forget, they did buy Destiny. They still have that, even though they're kind of still going to make games for other platforms, at least at this point, because again, they want to make money too. So, but they have that. It's not like they haven't bought anything, and we certainly know that they like the money hat, everything under the sun. These people going on about, well, Starfield being exclusive and now Redfall was supposed to go to PlayStation and that's exclusive. It's like, well, if it was or it wasn't. The bottom line is, how much stuff has Sony paid? I mean, the whole Final Fantasy thing is absolutely bonkers when you think about it. It was displayed on an Xbox show.
Yep.
right, during an E3 that it was coming to Xbox platforms, and all the fans went, "Wow, that's crazy! We're going to get the Final Fantasy VII
We were told
remake." And
1
somewhere
year
along that
exclusivity, and then we find out
1 year, and then we basically got shit on. And I know guys who literally were waiting. Like, I bought the PlayStation version because I don't like to wait for stuff. But that doesn't. What about all the other thousands of gamers that were actually excited to have it come to their platform, and then it got pulled? And then there's one that I was excited about, Stellar Blade. They recently went out and I guess coughed up money to keep that away from Xbox. Not to mention lots of DLC and stuff. And yeah, did Microsoft do stuff like that too? At one point, Microsoft was in bed with Call of Duty, and they paid money for the marketing rights and DLCs, but they never really kept anything off. They would have, again, that timed exclusivity and stuff, but they weren't about, keeping stuff away per se. So, but these guys, no, they just want everything off of Xbox. Like, honestly, they had the money, had everything out there. I'm pretty sure they would.
So, Colt, do you have anything to add to this, or you just don't feel like beating a dead horse tonight?
No, I mean, people may get sick of hearing about it, but there is a lot to say. I don't know where you want me to start, like, because we kind of started talking about Senator Cantwell saying that I think she was being facetious, or she was being hyperbolic when she said 98%. But I think she was referring to Japan, where I think they do have 98% over the market over Xbox, but certainly not over Nintendo. But the funny thing is if anybody's gonna take anything away from all the speeches we could give, is that the entire planet, the actual world of reasonable people right now are in a true understanding that PlayStation is in the wrong and Xbox is in the right, and it's time for Xbox to enjoy their new investment in gaming, where they've been sitting and riding the pine. They've been on the bench for a long time, for about 8 years, with almost no funding, 4 studios. And they decided, hey, we're going to be serious about this. Game Pass is going to be something really special. It's completely frightened PlayStation because they're not ready for a new paradigm where games are almost anywhere, and it's not about how many consoles you sell. It's how many people you get buying your games, people on your services, people playing on your ecosystem. So just take that from the whole situation, is that Xbox is in the right and PlayStation is now getting called out. One last thing I'll say is that the best part is PlayStation did everything they could to ramrod and derail this whole entire deal, and now the spotlight and the magnifier is on them. And so, you go and you tattletale on somebody, and they're like, well, what did you do? Why did you get hit? Why did they slap you? And then you find out what's really going on. For 25 years, PlayStation has been anti-competitive and anti-consumer, and better enjoy it. Better take your medicine, I guess.
And Fabio and Ultimus, if y'all don't have anything to say about this, this segues into our next topic, as a matter of fact. You all got anything to say? No?
Not really. My deepest respect to the senator, but that's about it.
All right. Well, then, our next topic is, people have been referring back to the worst thing that could have happened was that Redfall developers have come out and said that, yes, when we first started planning this game, there was a PlayStation version in the works. I mean, probably nothing had solidified yet, but at the time, when you're a multi-platform developer, when you start things out, I mean, you're looking at all platforms, and no contractual obligations were signed or anything. It hadn't even been advertised or announced for the PlayStation platform. But as soon as the merger...
Or even announced, period, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as the merger had went through, then they said that Xbox came in and said, well, that hasn't been announced yet. We're not doing the PlayStation version.
I think it's just absurd. How can a company that now owns the studio and the IP just decide whatever they want to do with it? How could they just do that?
It's BS.
I don't understand.
And so now everybody is trying to say that Phil lied. If you go back and listen to every interview he's ever done, he did not lie.
Just just rewatch the excellence round table that they did once the deal was done.
Yep.
You know, they sat down and they talked about it, and they're very clear. They wanted to bring
Yes.
exclusive games to platforms where Game Pass exists. That was what Phil's almost exact words.
Right.
He did not lie.
He said they were
mentioned that he
going to
didn't
take
really...
titles that were already existing on other platforms and titles
And so
that had contractual obligations like Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop.
Mm-hmm.
And they have upheld every end of that.
They have
but-
given them every update and DLC. That was the
Is
end of the
that-
agreement and the end of what they stated. That's it.
Shout out to Risk It for the Biscuit in the chat, and get off Noof. That's my boy.
I mean, like, and honestly, I don't understand why out of the sudden, every single crazy fanboy is now that was once saying bad things about Redfall, saying that it looked like shit, that it was going to be a Left 4 Dead copy, not original at all. It was going to backfire as Back 4 Bloods once did as well, as like as Evolved. The characters are not creative, la di da. Now all of the sudden, every one of them wants Redfall.
Yeah.
I mean, why is the goalpost is moving every time? Why?
It's not only moving as far as what games are reviewed as, it's moving as far as what their intentions are. Because, we don't want that. And then they see gameplay and they're like, oh, we're so mad. Let's go back and look into, we were supposed to get that too. Phil lied.
What about, what's the name of that game? Project Eve or something like that?
Yeah,
we'll talk about Stellar Blade earlier.
Blade, yeah.
Wasn't that announced for PlayStation and also Xbox?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so where is Project Eve right now for us to play?
The Xbox build has been canceled on that game, sir.
Why?
What?
Yeah, what?
I wonder. No way.
Yeah. I know.
I wonder where the outrage for that one.
I mean,
I'm just wondering when we'll start seeing the outrage for it. Me personally, when I saw this.
When you saw this?
when you
Yeah,
saw
sorry
it.
about this, my phone.
And then he died. He just died.
The
Like,
cat's got his
when I
tongue.
saw this, he just saw a ghost, and then it took his soul away.
Get that right.
I started to wonder whether or not it was my end that wasn't hearing him. But thank you,
No,
Fabio.
no,
Nobody
no,
heard
no.
him.
Like, I
No,
mean, like
it was
when I saw this, and then he remembered Vietnam. Like, goddamn it, what just happened?
Go ahead.
No, but it irritated me to see two things. One, I don't know why he brought it up in the first place. I just didn't understand what was the whole purpose of going through the whole, like, yeah, we were planning on doing another version. I was like, man, you act like you've never seen social media and how fanboys act. I just didn't understand what was the grand purpose of making that statement. And secondly, I love seeing the mental gymnastics because, like Fabio just said, it was trash before. It looks like this game is garbage. Everything else in the name of this game is an Xbox fodder or a Game Pass fodder, and now all of a sudden everybody's upset that they're not getting the game, and this is why I stopped trolling as much as I used to. I'm just with my mates, and that's about it. But I don't troll other people anymore because it's annoying to me because of the fact that there is no genuine outrage. There's really just that, whatever we don't get, that's what I want to complain about, and that's it. And there's no real conversation, and it's bothersome to me. Then when the shoe is on the other foot, how they'll do everything they can to flip out of that, and like, no. It's only unfair when it happens to me and my console that I like. Not you. Whenever we say support the devs, we mean support our devs.
Yeah, that's true.
It's what I call Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
That whole thing is what I call the Starfield effect, pretty much. That's what I'm gonna call it. You know, it's 1 minute it looks horrible, it's this and that. Then the second, oh, it looks great. Then it's the whole reverse, and then there's the fake outrage. And that's what I'm just gonna call it, the Starfield effect. It's just getting ridiculous, and I think it's only gonna continue. Just gonna be completely honest. I don't think this is gonna end.
Yeah,
Sorry,
wait till Starfield comes.
I was muted there. I was coughing up a lung. Yeah, I understand. Colteastwood,
like
sir, as the esteemed
Yes.
guest outside of our little powwow here, did Phil lie?
Nope. No, in fact, Randall Thor 19 put out a video about an hour ago, completely destroying everyone's tears of pain that are not warranted. No, he did not lie. When he was talking about exclusive games, he was talking about keeping games exclusive to the Xbox Series console generation. It is so funny that no one listens until he's done with the sentence. And the other time when Phil said that it was counterintuitive to what Microsoft is all about, it was about expanding to cloud and more devices, and they're expanding their ecosystem to be to more players. Because right now, if you take PlayStation out of the equation for a supposed, Bethesda game, people are like, you're taking choice away. I'm like, no, you're adding a lot more choice, because if it was PlayStation, obviously, it would be on one piece of plastic. But with Xbox, they're expanding to all kinds of devices that are within the Xbox ecosystem. Still have to buy the game from Xbox. You still have to sign it Xbox Live. You can play it on multiple Xbox consoles via cloud or natively and all that. We know all that stuff, right? So Phil did not lie. They said very specifically that games that exist on PlayStation will not be taken away. And Redfall, even if they did plan on making it a version, that is the perfect time to say, hey, we own the studio, we own the IP, this is our ecosystem, the game is not on PlayStation, and I'm sorry, PlayStation, you don't get every game. I don't know where this entitlement comes from, where PlayStation fans or the media that likes PlayStation more than Xbox, with that double standard where they think that PlayStation should have everything, since Xbox didn't have a lot of exclusive in the past. That's just not how it works. And Phil was very specific about the games will be exclusive where Game Pass exists, and he means games that are not on PlayStation. This is even where he confirmed that Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive to the Xbox platform, even though Elder Scrolls the series, just like Final Fantasy the series, is mostly multiplat. In fact, there are almost as many games on Xbox through the Final Fantasy series as there are on PlayStation. It's pretty close. Yeah. Especially the Series X, for sure, because of back compat the PlayStation doesn't have. But that's what he's saying. Like, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 16 may never, ever come to Xbox. And that's a franchise that's always been everywhere. Started on Nintendo. So I think it's just a real bout of hypocrisy for people who are going to sit there and say Phil lied when they don't understand how things work. I mean, KY Bob, we're talking to people that don't even understand what the word exclusive means. And when I say Xbox exclusive, or when Sarah Bond says Xbox exclusive, or Phil Spencer says Xbox exclusive, or Todd Howard in official marketing, these simpletons think that Xbox exclusive means the Xbox only means a console. Where have you been the past 21 years? Xbox has almost always been on PC and console. In fact, there are like maybe a handful of games that are still to this day only on an Xbox console. There are very, very few, like Forza Horizon 2, Halo 5, and then like some older games like Dead Rising 3 never came to PC. So it's just asinine that people think Xbox exclusive. I'm covering a lot of bases here because I hope this somebody who wants to learn something is listening, that when you say Xbox exclusive, you mean exclusive to where Xbox exists. And it exists nearly everywhere except for PlayStation.
Well, I thought all these PlayStation guys had powerful PCs. Did they not? A couple of years ago, they all did.
They do, but that's not good enough because they don't want to play on PC. Like me, I don't like to play on PC as much. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC.
$300.
Well, sure.
Series S for less than $300. Easy investment. Not a big deal. Like, but it said they just can't give in, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right, Noof. It's a real double standard, and the reality of it is they will beg and plead for Starfield and Redfall and Hellblade to be on PlayStation, but it's almost like they don't really want those games. They just don't want Xbox to have them.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So,
look at all those so-called Xbox guys. Many of us went out and bought a PlayStation 5 for what? To play those good games that they have.
That's all I do with my PS5.
I don't see
Horizon
anybody.
Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok, Miles Morales, Sackboy. Like that's the. I would never buy a multiplat on that system.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not here bitching about it. We're not here making false narratives and yada yada yada. We're like, yeah, I really like God of War. Guess what? I'm going to buy your console and play the damn game. That's simple, right? Yeah, it's part of the business. But that's why we all go to different burger joints. You know, like when you go to a certain burger joint, you generally go there for one thing or another. And usually, if you're going to say, like let's just say McDonald's, for example. Like a lot of people go there because they go for the Coke or they go for their Big Mac, which you can't get anywhere else. Doesn't stop you from going to other burger joints. You go, I just can't eat anywhere else but there because they don't have that burger. You know, nobody says that shit. You know what I mean? But this is how these gaming fans, they just can't get around that. Like, and it just blows their mind. It's year after year after year, same old crap. I don't get it.
No Coke.
Just buy a friggin' Xbox. It's not that friggin' hard. Or play on your PC. It's not that hard. But just stop.
Isn't that what they used to say? If you want to play this game, just go buy a freaking PlayStation. I remember seeing that for years. You know, just go buy a PlayStation. You know, we did, and now
we saw that not just from the fanboys, but from even game developers themselves. Capcom, when Street Fighter V got released and announced only for PlayStation 5, everyone on Xbox was like, "What's going on? Why have you done this? How am I going to play this now?" And he said, "Well, there's a good solution for that. The PlayStation 4 right now might be in a really good price. So yeah, I recommend you buying that."
So,
Sony's scared of the day and date stuff. That's the biggest scare for them.
So I'm gonna have to drop some facts. So I'm gonna have to
get closer to that because they got the West on there already now, and that hasn't been out that long. And when I saw that was on their service, I was like, wow. I know one of the reasons because the sales haven't been what they wanted to be, but at the same time, to see them still give in and do that was pretty surprising to see them add that. And that game has only been out, a year ago?
Well, maybe if they had their own service and day and date right off the pop, maybe Days Gone would have seen a sequel. We got more play.
Days Gone's such a great game, and it got beat to the ground by Sony's leadership.
Yeah.
But I just saw an interview with Sam Whitmer, the guy that voices Deacon and Starkiller, right? You know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
And Sony Picture Studios is not going to cast him as the lead in Days Gone, the TV show. And he was doing apparently I didn't know this, but he voices Darth Maul in one of the spin-off Star Wars features, like a cartoon or something. And he was getting into character on this mic, and he's like, "Here's how I channeled the original Darth Maul voice." And I was like just blown away by his chops. The guy's amazing, and it just makes you wonder. I'm like, what? You didn't cast this guy in the show? You know, he's probably my age. He could still do that stuff. I'm like, what's going on with Sony, man? Like, he's amazing, and they totally killed the chance of that game getting a sequel.
Yeah. So, it's funny because once the PC sales came in, I think it's up to 8 mil altogether in sales, maybe close to 10. And
Ben Studios was upset.
Yeah,
and it's all about perception. Yep. It's all about perception over anything with PlayStation, leadership. And Days Gone didn't meet the killer high watermark that is the big tag on top of PlayStation, and they just kind of buried the game. It's unfortunate. Sometimes you'll get a sequel to a pretty good game, and the sequel could be really amazing, and we didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Boba Fett Gaming and Infinite Umbra in the chat. Thanks for stopping by, guys. and if I didn't already before, risk it for the biscuit, sir. So, perfect segue into our next topic. Noof Nukem brought it up when he mentioned McDonald's and Coke. I want to touch on a little conversation that's going back and forth on Twitter between Reforged Gaming and Colteastwood, and I want you to understand how stupid Reforged Gaming sounds. Okay.
Okay, so
Wait, did he say more than 2 things to me? Because I haven't seen after that.
Yeah.
Was it just a couple?
What have you get yourself into? Seriously?
So
This
he wants
time.
to bring up
What?
Coke, and if Burger King was to buy Coke, and Burger King would be the only one to serve Coke, and I don't think this dumbass understands that in order to serve Coke anywhere in
Gotta buy
world,
the entire Coca-Cola.
yes, you have to sign an exclusivity contract with Coca-Cola. That's the only way you get to serve Coke in your restaurant. So that hypocrisy is already alive and well. Same with Pepsi.
Oh, really?
Yes. See, so Pepsi, I commented on your all's conversation on Twitter. Pepsi is owned by Yum Brands, which also owns Taco Bell, KFC, and Pizza Hut. And you
Correct.
notice those restaurants serve Pepsi in their restaurants, and they get to serve Pepsi for free because they take advantage of the centricity of their parent company, which is Yum Brands. Well, that's the same thing Microsoft is doing. If it's part of the centricity of their parent company, which is Xbox, then you get those games. It's the same thing with Coke and Pepsi. With Coke, you have to sign an exclusivity contract in order to serve Coke, and you're not allowed to serve any other beverage in your facility if it's not supplied by Coke. That's a big
Now,
deal.
wait a second, Bobby. Is that legal?
Yes, it's legal. It's called business.
That's a new one for me.
Yes, in order to serve Coke, you have to sign an agreement with Coke that we'll let you serve Coke in your
Here's
restaurant.
another funny factoid. If I used to work for Coca-Cola back in the late 90s, you're not allowed when you're in Coke uniform, you're not allowed to go into Taco Bell or KFC or
Pizza
Hut in uniform.
Yep.
Because they exclusively sell Pepsi in those restaurants, and they told us don't go to eat those places during your lunch break while you're in uniform. You'll lose your job.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, especially nowadays.
This has
you
been
get- you
going
get to
on
be a
for
meme.
decades. I mean, this isn't something new. So yeah, his argument is mute because in order to serve Coke, you have to sign a contract with Coke to begin with, which is exactly what Sony would have to do to have Call of Duty on their PlayStation. So
Here's the most hilarious part of his argument that makes it moot. He says Burger King buys Coca-Cola and then wants to cut a deal with McDonald's, who also sells Coca-Cola. The funny thing is McDonald's will still be able to sell Coca-Cola, and they'll still sell more Coca-Cola than Burger King ever will.
Right.
Here's the problem why that content creator, I can't remember his name, but who
Reforged
cares if I
Gaming.
can't remember his name? No, I still don't remember his name. Anyway, that content creator. Here's the problem with that. He's not worried about not getting a sweet deal with Coke or because you don't get what are you gonna get, exclusive cups and straws? Like it's just a Coca-Cola drink. It's the syrup and the CO2, right? Here's his problem with the deal. Burger King is Xbox, McDonald's is PlayStation. He's upset, just like the other PlayStation fans are upset, that now that money is no longer going to Activision. That money is going to Xbox. So when Call of Duty sells, the money always went to Activision. Now Call of Duty sells gangbusters like it does every year, even when the game is worse than it's ever been, and it still breaks sales records. That money now goes to Xbox, and that's what hurts the most. That's what kills them, man.
Yeah.
They can give you all their rationale. They can tell you all about how PlayStation has every right to defend their bottom line, right? Of course they do, but not at the risk of lying and deceiving and making false claims that never happened. They're really worried, especially the fans, that money is going to bolster up Xbox. Because when it went to Activision, they didn't give a flying crap.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We have Transformers in the
Nothing
panel
changes
again, sir.
if it goes there and they get a contract with Xbox. Nothing changes. You know, they still get their money. It's not like, you know, they make it like, well, we're not going to get any money out of it. No, you still do get money out of it. So where's the problem? Well, they're going to take the game away eventually. Well, that's better than what PlayStation would have did, because PlayStation would have done it now. They wouldn't have done it eventually. They would have done it right now, and they would have had a ticker tape parade and everything else. So let's not act as if you don't think that's what play. You know, it's funny. I've asked so many fanboys that too. Do you think PlayStation would have done that? No one wanted to answer it. It's just the weirdest thing how nobody wanted to agree. Well, yeah, they would have. Of course they would have. No way. Nobody wanted to. They just wanted to stick with their point. But no, the point is this. No, the point is that they would have done the same thing, and you wouldn't have had a problem with it. Not one bit.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. Like, there's an entire culture around Sony and exclusives that, like, if we can just invert the entire situation where Sony announces that they are acquiring Activision Blizzard, all of a sudden people would never just have this discussion by saying, is this going to be exclusive, or is it going to continue to be
Yes,
multi-platform?
exactly.
Or is this deal going to be approved, or is this deal going to be blocked? What is going to happen? Like, there wouldn't be any doubts. People would only say, yeah, it's now officially exclusive. This is why Sony surprised everyone so much when once they acquired Bungie, Destiny was going to continue to be multi-platform, as well as, according to what they said, Bungie itself was going to continue multi-platform. So, I don't know, like, it's an entire culture that started especially in, I know that exists since the Nintendo 64 with the original Final Fantasy VII. I know about that, but like, that entire culture of exclusives are the future, exclusives, 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 and Xbox has no games, and Sony is the best, and Sony this and that, started because of Xbox One and PS4 generation. And I don't know how exactly that started, but it's just it became a virus, to be honest, to gaming community, to the point where you cannot just have an opinion where you like all the consoles, where you enjoy all the consoles, or where you just, I don't like this teeny little part of that company, and then you are going to be pretty much criticized for until the fifth generation of your family. So yeah.
Lies of P gameplay on screen for that goodness right now. That's right.
I can't wait for that game.
Dude, after I watched this gameplay, I was like, oh yeah, I want to play this, because I thought it was gonna be like a Souls type game, but then when I saw her get hit and she didn't die right away, I was like, oh, I can play this. Like I can play this.
No, it is a Souls game. I played it at PAX, and you will die.
Yeah,
you will die.
So you're telling me the developer that's capturing this gameplay is just that good?
Oh, well, I mean, they probably have some stuff so they can get through it, but I'm sure the developers are pretty good at the game. But yeah, I played it, and I played it like 3 times at PAX, and it is beautiful. I mean, we just played Elden Ring in April and May, and then by July or June I was at PAX, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, this game isn't a massive open world, so it just is so beautiful. Such a great looking game.
I can't wait for that. And then I saw it got moved down, I think, to was it August or September?
Yes, it's August of 2023.
I'm so mad about that, but it'll be worth it once it gets here.
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand the premise, because I'm assuming they're like in like a London type area.
You're Pinocchio. Yeah.
Yeah. And so everybody looks like they're like old time, like machine, like animatronics.
Yeah, it's like it's like a reverse Pinocchio world, where he's a real boy and he's fighting all these mechanical created puppets, basically, or machines. Yeah, so it's got the steampunk industrial era thing going on, and you're the boy of Pinocchio, and I don't know what else you do, but that's the whole vibe. You're in like a industrial era London. It's very cool.
Yeah,
And it's it's hard hitting game.
I like it. I like the look of it, but I didn't like Wo Long, so I don't know if I'll like this now. Shoot.
Yeah, I need to
you'll
get more
fuck it up.
patient.
You'll be all right, Bobby.
Yeah.
I'll be there to hold your hand.
Okay. Thank you, Bush. So in other news, on 6/6/23, so that would be June 6th of 2023, the Xbox 360 controller is coming back.
What do you mean?
They are going to make a recreation of the 360 controller, and it will be out in June.
A wireless version?
That is yet to be
I
said.
didn't see that, Cole.
Because they already
I
put
would
out a
assume
wired
so.
version last year of the 360 controller that you could play on new consoles.
Well, this one
It looks really cool, but
should be well. If they've just announced this one, then it's probably a wireless version because I don't see a cord in the picture.
And I don't remember them mentioning it being wired either. Would you say again, Altus? I'm sorry, bro.
No, I cut you off. My apologies. No images are showing a cord at all. None of what they've shown off. So I'm gonna assume
Yeah,
not.
I haven't even read anything saying it either. So yeah.
Dude, I
how
love
do I
that
find
controller.
this? It was November of last year they did the wired one, but
That controller.
I'll have to look that up. I'm trying to see it here, but
Hoping it's not.
I don't know why. I think it's not. I don't, like I said, I don't like making assumptions, but in this one I do because of the fact that the wired one already came out, and with this one being the case, with them announcing it now, I would think that would be the case. I'm debating on whether or not I love. I don't know what it is with me. I love and I mean love to collect controllers. I have too many stinking unique controllers, but
Yeah.
I used to love the 360 controller. Now, don't get me wrong. The Elite 2 is the best amalgamation of the Xbox One and the 360 controller, in my opinion.
So
But
the post.
I'm not sure if I wouldn't still buy it.
The post says the Xenon, a replica of the official Xbox 360 controller, licensed and designed for Xbox. For Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows 10 and 11 PCs, launching 6/6/23 at $49.99. And then it
there you
says,
go.
full circle, back in control. Pre-orders will begin on May the 5th. And I see no cords, Sir Colt.
I'm seeing this little animation. I'm going to the website.
I mean, my personal opinion, that was the most comfortable controller that I ever held in my hand was the 360 controller.
It was.
the bumpers.
Agreed.
The bumpers were more accessible. They were in the right place, and Xbox hasn't gotten back to that. You can get the bumpers with the inside pad of your first fingers so easily, and the angle on the new controllers is not as nice, and I've conditioned myself away from that. But
Yeah.
Oh, if I bought that, I'd never use anything else. like
Bob's
that,
going to
be
have
honest.
one of them. Oh, yeah.
do you think $50?
I know I am.
$50, I think, is
$50
if it's,
says it's wireless.
if it's a wireless controller and it's a like exact replica,
Yeah, it's a
like
good deal.
if it's true to the history of the controller, then yeah, I think $50 is a fair deal.
Agreed.
I do too.
Yeah, I used to love that controller. I mean, love that controller. And I think I still would to this day. I really, really, really had a thing for that controller for the longest. So we'll see. I hope it is, though. I would love it to also, too, come in some other designs. But, I'm wishing way too much. But still, though.
Yeah. Well, we can hope. Does anybody have any experiences with the corded version? Because I think that would be the closest thing to compare it to as far as expectations. Anybody use that?
No, not yet.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
Well-
I don't know. I know. I saw some of the people that we follow talk about it on Twitter over the holiday, but I never talked to anybody after they got it. I know quite a few people grabbed one, and I'm like, nah, it's wired. Like,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind buying it for $50 if it was wireless, even if half the time it sat on my little shelf, because it's so cool. But
I won't even.
I have a
mind-
bunch of 360 controllers in the other room.
I mean, I won't
Yeah, I have
even.
one 360 controller still.
Like
One.
at the time, I think the only gripe I had about the controller was that the battery pack stuck out in the middle of the back of it. I don't even
Yep.
think I'd complain about
Oh,
that
yeah,
now. I would be like, oh, it feels so. I can just close my eyes, and all of a sudden, I'm 10 years back in time. This feels amazing.
Man, I could reload those batteries. I used to keep rechargeable batteries plugged in next to my couch, and I could reload that thing like a double-barrel shotgun in the middle of playing online with friends.
Well, hopefully
Loved it.
they
Those were good
design
days.
it so that the Xbox proprietary battery pack slips in and works correctly.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It would be cool,
Well,
man.
Because they would have to
Yeah.
redesign that battery bay, because if you remember, the batteries actually sat in the cover, and then you snapped the cover onto it.
Yep.
So they would have to redesign that to go with the battery pack that tells the controller to recognize it as a rechargeable pack. So, yeah.
Man, Bobby, you into some real magical stuff.
Yeah, I brought up some magic. That's right. In other news, Atomic Heart is 5 million plus players in 3 weeks. 5 million plus. Wow. I mean, I liked it, but apparently everybody else likes it too. Colt, did you get a chance to play Atomic Heart 5? Fabio, did you play Atomic Heart?
Cole was like, no comment.
Yeah, like he hated the game so badly to the point where he was just ignoring.
I was
Like,
switching the
That's
game.
Atomic
all
Heart,
right.
like Atomic Heart, I'm taking off my headset.
Leave
And
it.
that's
Exactly.
You go and continue the episode without me, boys. But like, yeah, I only played just a tiny little bit of the beginning because I'm just way too addicted in playing games where I can also listen to podcasts and music at the same time. And when it comes to games where I need to pay attention to the narrative and I don't want to miss those narrative elements, I don't know why, I'm just not playing those much anymore. But yeah, I
Wait, you don't
played
think
just
you could play that game and still listen to something else? Because I know I
like
do.
I don't know. It's just because I don't want to miss the cutscenes. I don't want to miss the story because like it's the first time that I'm playing the game. Like, so I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, okay. You're at that point. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Like
In the beginning, yeah, I'm like that with the
exact.
beginning.
So
Once
like
I get
so like
past that, then I'm out of it. Yeah, yep.
like if I'm playing the game, no, but like to me, if I'm playing a game where it's a narrative driven game, or it is just a narrative driven RPG or whatever it is for the first time, I wanna play listening to all the music, all the sound effects,
Got it.
all the dialogues. But playing for the second, the third time, like I've done so many times with Skyrim, I'm listening to something else just to enjoy myself, and that's it. And for some reason I've been doing this way too much now, and it's been a problem. I've been I've been ignoring so many good games because of this, so I need to stop.
All right. You know what time it is. You see it on screen right now. That's right.
Time for Cletus.
Purple screen?
Bob captured this earlier.
Purple screen.
Bob captured this earlier. This is Ninja
This is
Theories.
so beautiful. Looks so amazing.
Hellblade
Yeah.
2 Unreal Engine 5. Oh yeah.
The best
Damn,
the
I
best
couldn't wait to
part
talk about that.
best part was a fanboy saying they just filmed a real woman making face stuff.
Yeah, it's like they went through all the trouble to promote this just
Yeah,
to put
like
the
this is
Oh my
not
God.
Just to
this is
use,
not
yeah.
CGI. This is just a
No.
real person in front of a camera. No, boys, this is the Unreal Engine.
It was very impressive how the facial cameras and all that they used was able to perfectly capture the mouth movement and all that. It was so
Yeah,
impressive, and
yeah.
how it
It
can be
was very
and
impressive.
how it can be translated over into like her in-game design, like how it shows
Yeah.
how they showed it, like with all the dirt and all that, and how it just transfers perfectly. That just shows where Unreal Engine is taking us. We're going into realism now. We're going
No,
into the perfect
like it just reminds me when I saw this clip for the first time. It reminded me, uh, right back when Ninja Theory was announced as an Xbox game studio, and in their YouTube channel they made the video announcing that they were acquired by Microsoft and they were now going to be focusing on Xbox and PC, and that's it. But there's a just a little phrase that I think it's the studio director, the other owner of the studio. I don't know now, but like he said, Hellblade was made by a very small team and extremely limited resources. Imagine what we could do, full backed by Microsoft, with full creative process from Ninja Theory. And now this is the result that we've been waiting for. It's amazing.
What I really like.
We've already been.
Go ahead, Ultimus. I'm sorry, I cut you
No,
off.
you go ahead, sir. You go right ahead. No, I cut you off. Go right ahead.
So what I really like about this video is at the very beginning, before when you see her clean face, you can see her. She's getting into character. You can see her moving her lips around, kind of doing the breathe in, and she's really getting pumped up. And then the post processing effects go over her face, and it really gives you a feel of what you're going to experience in the game, and it's just amazing. And then at the end of the video, they show her, and she's got that camera in front of her face that's capturing every little move of every pixel of her skin, and it's just like right here. She's getting into character. She's looking at. She's closing her eyes. She's getting into the psyche of her character, and then boom, the post processing effects hit and she comes alive in the game, and it's just amazing. This game is going to be phenomenal. I mean, it's going to be a visual spectacle. I cannot wait for it. Go ahead, Ultimus. I'm sorry.
I think with Ninja Theory, what's most impressive is that they don't stay quiet. They keep giving us these little clips, and they keep showing us different parts of the game. Like, we got a clip a little while ago about how the bird technology was working, and how they had the AI, and how they was literally like documenting where they were pooping and all that. I mean, it's just like the level of detail that they're putting into this game is just beyond. Let's also add in that now with Unreal Engine 5 and Nvidia and everybody else, they're showing off exactly what the post-processing facial animation could do, and it is just beyond impressive, and we are hitting levels of realism we have never hit before, and this is just completely impressive. And it's also very fascinating as well how far we've come since gaming started so long ago. Very impressive from the team at Ninja Theory, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this game.
I mean, it's almost like the level of realism we saw from Forza Horizon 5 and Flight Sim. That direction turned onto the human body, and it's really going to be amazing to see characters that actually, they don't just come alive on your screen, they look alive on your screen. It's going to be amazing. Colteastwood,
but of course, you got a contingent of fans.
Yes, Noof?
But you do have a contingent of fans that are already tearing this down on social media, saying, "Well, where's the gameplay? And games used to look this good years ago. This is nothing." Come on, man! Like, get real. If this was on your console of choice, you'd be fucking flipping the lid. Like, look, it's just a great example of the technology, and we have already seen parts of the gameplay. They showed it off last year when she was throwing those friggin' spears at the giant and stuff, and you could already tell. And look, did the first game, which came out in 2017, not look absolutely nuts? It was one of the best-looking games. Yeah, it was one of the best-looking games ever on the PlayStation 4. It rivaled some of the best games we've ever seen on any platform. So then you're going to doubt that Ninja Theory can't bring this level now with a big budget and a bigger team than they've ever had before? You're fooling yourself if you think they're not going all in on this shit.
Colteastwood, are you still with us?
He still thinks we are talking about Atomic Heart.
We're not talking about Atomic Heart anymore, Colt
As a
Eastwood. Are you
full
muted, Colt?
star.
All right.
Probably.
Somebody check on Colt. He may have taken too much pain meds.
Oh.
Jesus.
He may have passed out.
I think he's more
Well,
upset about the
I,
whole Atomic Heart thing, like Fabio said.
I hate to admit it, but I fell asleep on TXR a few weeks back when they had me on as a guest. First time I ever fell asleep during a podcast.
Wow. I'm not admitting when and where that may have ever happened. Not going to admit it, but it has.
I was about an hour in, and all I
Before.
heard is I just came to, and it's like, Noof, are you still there? Are you having? I think Noof is having technical difficulties, guys. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Shit.
You missed that whole conversation, and I was just like, oh man, that's embarrassing.
So, gonna hop into our next topic.
Wait. I didn't get a chance to say anything about Unreal 5.
All right, go ahead. Let us know.
Okay.
What do you think?
So, I think that Unreal 5, I hope Risket's still inside the, I don't think he is either, so never. Well, anyway, I'm going to say it anyway. With Unreal 5, I think that if it was up to me, every game would be made with Unreal 5 and nothing else. And it would speed up game development. It also would be, well, I can't wait for it to be used with full RDNA 2. That's my real thing. Not just with one aspect, but my biggest aspect I'd like to see next would be mesh shaders. I would really, really, really love to see that get used, but you have to use that in the very beginning is what I've learned, and I would love to see that. But the facial animations are stunning. The thing that got me with the technology was not just the fact that the technology had moved ahead, but that little camera that she had, she didn't have to have those little tennis balls on her face or whatever those are called. I know what they're for. Yeah.
They usually put little
The mocap dots.
little paint pot
balls.
spots on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
and
did
so
that whole thing in 1 minute with one piece.
Yeah. It just blew me away, though, that they were able to capture it with that. And I'm like, the technology is really advanced where you don't need the thing that you've needed for decades. I mean, for decades to make it run. And now you don't need that. I was blown away by that. The whole time I was watching it, I was talking as if I was somebody from 2090, from 1990, because it just was amazing to me that, look at the first one I remember seeing was the jungle, and I thought it was going to show you a correlation between realism and what they were able to do, but then they advanced over and showed you where the truck was at, and I said, "Oh my God, that really reminded me of the Forza thing, where they showed you what the game looked like, and we thought it was a photo. It was more crisp." It was even more crisp. And the more they showed how they did the valley and how the valley broke down and how they could change things in the valley. And I said, now I can see why they were saying that this could be even faster than UE4, because there were so many changes he was making on the fly. It was ridiculous. Yeah, I just can't wait to see games fully implement UE5 and not just UE5, but also to RDNA, full RDNA 2.
They're gonna render Master Chief's ass.
Sorry, I had to go in and take some ibuprofen. I haven't been listening to my doctor's advice, but anyway, did you guys talk about Redfall for Unreal Engine 5? Apparently, that was a bombshell that dropped yesterday. The devs said the game isn't actually in Unreal Engine 5; it's fully in Unreal Engine 4, and I thought it was going to be 5.
I thought it was going to be 5 also. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Which is unfortunate because my next video is a huge Unreal Engine 5 video that's going to take me days if I can even move my arm up to the freaking keyboard. But there is some magical stuff that's happening that takes a lot of stress off of hundreds of developers that are creating our favorite things. So yeah, some good stuff coming. but we've yet to see an actual Unreal Engine 5 game outside of Fortnite. And if you have a Series X and an OLED, Fortnite actually is one of the best looking games out.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. It got me to playing it just off the looks, even though the game is fun without the build. But
Oh yeah.
And then to see the new stuff, what they were pushing out for the new content, I was like,
The
man,
UEFM stuff looks amazing.
Yeah.
So Solid Rev, who's a guy I follow on YouTube and Twitter, his kid was playing those new custom realistic looking maps, and he's like, whoa, I'm about to jump in that, because Solid Rev won't play anything if it doesn't look, really manly, right? But he was like, whoa, what's this? And he wants to jump in, so I'm waiting for an answer back so maybe he can help me find that mode as well, because my kids and I play Fortnite almost every day together. We do like 4 or 5 matches, and that's what we do. So yeah, Unreal Engine 5, the real magic.
That truck demo, did you see that? The Rivian truck or whatever going through the jungle.
Yeah, the
It was nuts. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, it was beautiful. That jungle was just fantastic looking. I couldn't believe how realistic it looked.
Like the tire deformation at the rocks and like all the sort of stuff and the water
on the side of the vehicle.
God,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
it's insane. That's detail.
So Colt, what did you think of that Hellblade 2 Unreal Engine 5 demo that they showed today?
It looks beautiful. It's not actually from the game, but it is exactly what they're using right now for the game. So we can expect to see some amazing cutscenes and amazing modeling of the characters. It's incredible. One of the things that makes it so amazing is you wait so long to get back from your effects team to find out what your vision is going to look like when it comes to life. And right now, the directors and the animators and the developers can just envision something and put it to work and turn around moments later and say, is this what we're looking for? And we're in an era where games take at least 6 years to make. You're making a big game, plan on not it ever releasing for at least 6 years. And hopefully this kind of alleviates some of that, because the demand for hyper-realism and top-quality graphics has added like 2 or 3 years on development time, and everything gets delayed.
Yeah, I know. And hopefully we're done with that. Hopefully 2023 sets everything straight, because we get all the releases that have been delayed until this point, and the delays we've seen are final, and development can get back on track. In 2024, everything starts coming out when it's supposed to.
Perfect Dark and Fable were supposed to be out by 2024, and it sounds like they've got all kinds of extended expectations of when they think that game will come out. So that's unfortunate, and I think Xbox is going to have to kind of keep running into these bumps where they think that they're going to have. Oh, my arm! Gosh, I don't know how long I can stay on here. Jeez. I think Xbox, has this roadmap of when games are going to come out, and they just keep hearing from studios they need another year, and they haven't announced release dates for those, so that's okay. But there's just big expectations from studios that may not have made a AAA game before, that they're now pushing the envelope of what makes it AAA and the budget and the time and everything needed under that. And some of these games are going to take longer than we originally thought they were going to be when we saw them announced in 2020.
Somebody's talking about Compulsion.
Oh, Compulsion.
Sure.
That's right.
Compulsion's never done anything big, ever. And now they've given themselves... Microsoft hasn't, and Xbox has not asked them to make a AAA game. I've heard multiple reports where they've been asking for more time and more money.
Yeah.
Like, we want to stretch our legs. We want to become a AAA game development studio now that we have some actual funding. They were a Kickstarter studio last generation.
Where is Rare at with Everwild? I mean, my God, they just celebrated 5 years. They celebrated 5 years of Sea of Thieves. Rare's got to be up to more than just Sea of Thieves and like 10 years in the
Everwild got kicked back though. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
we are still waiting for Everwild, which was announced in 2019.
Yeah.
I'll ruffle Colt's feathers. Where's my Banjo Kazooie? Damn it!
Yes, thanks.
Shout
We
out
You
still
guys
my-
to
still live for that
Where's my
game.
Conker?
J Rock in the
Hello?
chat.
Still-
J Rock, what's up, brother?
I mean, like,
J Rock
I mean,
is
like-
the man.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
I mean,
J
like-
Rock and I have been having some good. Oh, my heart, Jay. Oh, my heart hurts
My
today, bro. There was I don't remember the guy's name, but there's somebody on Twitter who was telling everybody that Senua animation was not even CGI. It was actually just an actress in front of a camera, and we were all
yeah, we
smoked.
just-
Did you just
Yeah, we
cover that
mentioned
while I was
that.
away?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, my heart.
Where
Yeah.
were you? God damn.
Which I mean, that
I
doesn't
told
make.
you I had to go get medic. I'm like, this arm is like, ugh, man, it's not
You
good.
can tell when
But
the
yeah,
when the
absolutely.
post processing comes over her face that is that's CGI. So
Yeah, I mean, she had a clean face, and then she had like the war paint on and everything, and you got somebody on Twitter going, "That's just video footage. I'm not smart."
I don't appreciate
Yeah.
Bobby's tone when he just said CGI like that, like it was something wrong with that.
no,
I'm,
there's
I'm
nothing
gonna let it
wrong.
go.
I was emphasizing
No, I'm not.
CGI.
I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it go.
You
I'm gonna
better
let it
let it
go,
go,
yeah.
Mr. Bush.
I just didn't like your tone. That's all. Not the wording.
All right.
Just the
Well,
tone. That's all.
well, our next topic, Counter-Strike 2, has officially been announced for summer 2023. So why don't you show up and get your ass kicked by Mr. Bobby?
Which platform? Which platform?
All
On
platforms.
everything, on everything.
All platforms.
All platforms. Okay, I'm playing that.
Great.
Thank God.
Yeah. It's been 20 years since we've had Counter-Strike in the
The
mix.
best. God damn it. What was the name? What was the name now of the game that reminded CS, but it just
Crossfire X?
Crossfire X. Thank God. Let us forget about Crossfire X and have a true game there, please.
Yeah, I know not Crossfire. Wow, you got that. I know that Counter Strike is big. I can't wait to see what everything looks like. I saw videos of them showing Counter Strike, but I wasn't sure if that was the original gameplay from the old game or not. But Counter Strike never really did it for me, and me liking COD has nothing to do with it being the big name because I'm not a big name guy. If the game is good, the game is good. Like the season 3 for Halo, really good. I'm enjoying that one. But in Counter Strikes, I'm just the mechanics are a little hokey for me. I'm just not really a fan. So they said they're supposed to tighten everything up and modernization did it up. So we'll see. For me, I'll see. I'm gonna give it a shot. I always give everything a shot, just about.
Mr. Bush,
But,
I'm gonna
yeah,
ask
not-
I'm gonna ask Mr. Bush the
You
question.
just don't give a shot.
I'm gonna ask him the question that everybody else out there in the community is wondering. What
What?
exactly does it for you, Mr. Bush?
That's another show for another day. Anyway, no, anything sci-fi, you got me. And sci-fi horror, you got me. Anything that's fun, you got me. Just didn't like that game that much.
So basically everything.
Everything.
Yeah, just about everything, as long as it's good. Yeah, it could be indie, it could be double A, it could be any of those things, as long as it's fun.
Right on.
Where the games matter.
And shout
not
out to
platforms.
Boba Fett Gaming in the chat. It says, do yourself a favor and jump in the Diablo 4 beta this weekend. It's going to be bigger than I expected. I hope Blizzard is ready because we had 1 million people reach level 20 in the closed beta this past weekend, and they're going
That's
to
gonna be
add the 2
wow.
classes that were missing in the closed beta to the open. They better have twice as many servers ready to go, or we're going to experience what we experienced Friday with the server issues all
You
weekend.
can be sure. You can be sure that on release Diablo 4 will have server issues, just like Diablo 3 had. when it got released.
Why you always have to come around and burst my bubble, Fabio?
Because I am your sense of reality.
I don't like reality, man.
You know I'm right.
Colt
But I
Eastwood,
have
did
to
you
live
play
in-
Counter-Strike back in the day, sir? Speaking to the old folks in the panel,
No,
sir.
no, I was too busy. I was too busy getting girls, than to play nerdy games like Counter Strike. No, I'm just joking.
Getting girls
I
and
think
playing
Counter-Strike
guitar.
I think Counter Strike came out early 2000s or maybe late 90s.
Yes.
I
Both
didn't play a
answers are
lot of
correct.
games back then. Yeah, I didn't play a lot. I played like some Rainbow Six and Roller Coaster Tycoon on my PC, and that was about
I still
it.
love Rainbow
So I
Six.
kind of missed that era. Yeah, Rainbow Six, the original one, the one where it was like one
Yeah.
bullet, one death. Yeah.
Yes,
You had to
yes.
spend like 45 minutes setting up your squad where they're going to go through, and
Yep. You got a
and if
breach or
somebody
whatever.
dies, they're gone. They're gone from the whole campaign. Yeah, hardcore
It's
stuff.
not like Siege, but still, though, I do remember the old one though.
Actually,
love the old one.
The original Rainbow Six is really hardcore. Like you are like planning to, okay, I'll go in by entering through the roof, and then you jump through the roof and you die, just
Yeah.
because you put it on the floor. And like, God damn it, what about my plan?
Yeah, I mean, if one bullet touched you, your character is either dead or incapacitated and out
Hell,
for
yep.
the next 3
No.
missions. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, this is
One
long
bullet
before Rainbow
is-
Six Vegas and all that stuff. It was like
if
2000,
one bullet
99.
or even if your feet just touch the floor because of gravity, you die. Like, God damn
So
it.
Counter-Strike was an original derivative of Half-Life. And I know this because when Half-Life 2 came out with the Source engine, they re-released Counter-Strike as Counter-Strike Source. And yeah, so it is a Valve product. So it looks like we've had Half-Life Alyx, and now we're getting Counter-Strike 2. It looks like Valve may come back to us as a developer and not just a marketplace, which is exciting. I mean, Valve has always made great games, and hopefully they
We are
do not
still-
drop the ball on Counter-Strike 2.
We are still not getting Half-Life 3.
Oh, don't. Oh, that's an open.
What I saw recently was that they were talking about another Half-Life. So I'm hoping that's true, but I'm not one for rumors. But that one I was excited for. I'm hoping that's the
Don't-
case.
Don't give me hope.
Noof Nukem,
It's
sir.
just like-
Counter-Strike, Half-Life, played any of them? Interested at all?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't say I was big on either one. It was kind of one of those things that just it just kind of passed me by. But I have played Counter Strike on various occasions and had a lot of fun with it. And I only kind of dabble with Half-Life 2, and I did enjoy the game, but I never did kind of beat it. So definitely would love to jump back in. And I think it's really cool that they're finally, after it feels like a century, getting back to another version of Counter Strike. I was like, man, they're sitting on a gold mine, but I guess the old mantra is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I mean, sometimes it's just like, you clamor for a sequel, you clamor for an upgrade. I mean, Counter Strike, despite the fact that it still plays as good as ever, certainly has shown its age. Graphically, animation wise, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, the game has legs. It's been around. It's still, usually in the top 10 or 20 most played games or most streamed games all the time, and it has that quiet
Big and
success.
rare.
Nobody like really talks about it all the time, but every time you look on the streaming sites, the Counter Strike is big, just like League of Legends and some of these games that just keep on going. So, Valve basically made their claim to fame with Counter Strike. That engine evolved into games like Left 4 Dead. And all that sort of stuff, and Half-Life, obviously a big title as well that deserves to come back. And I'm hoping to get Half-Life Alyx for the PSVR 2. I think they said it was going to come out for PSVR 2, and if it does, I'll certainly pick up a copy for sure. But yeah, definitely think it's cool and dying to jump back in, I guess, if it, hopefully it'll make a console adaptation, right? But we'll see.
So,
They did make Counter-Strike Go on the Xbox 360.
yes, they did.
Yep.
Don't mean to. I'm not going to try and deter you, Noof, because Half-Life 2 is an amazing game. But after episode 1, and I believe, was there an episode 2? Or am I thinking of another game? I think it was just episode 1. It just kind of, like, see, it's carrying you along the storyline.
Because
And
It's, it's because after the first game there was a mod called Black Mesa.
yes.
Yeah, so
But
I
following
think
that
you
main
all
storyline, you're like, man,
it's
this is so much fun. This is great. I'm so engrossed in the story. I can't wait what happens next. And then nothing happened next because Valve stopped making games.
Yep.
And it broke everybody's heart. It was horrible.
Stopped making games and just concentrated on selling games on Steam.
Yeah, pretty much until Half-Life Alyx. And I was all pumped about when I heard about that, and then when I found out it was VR only, I'm like, really? Our first Half-Life in 20 years, and it's going to be on a niche platform? You're killing me.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Valve didn't make any games? After all, in 2018, they decided to release Artifact, a Dota card game, which was what everybody wanted.
No, that's not what we want. A story-told first-person shooter made by Valve, and we never got that.
Or maybe maybe a Left 4 Dead free. That would be good too.
Ultimates Gaming, sir. I know you're too young to remember Counter-Strike. When Counter-Strike was big, you were still on a bottle, sir. But I'm telling you, when it comes out, you want to try it out. If it's true to the original, if it holds up the legacy, you will be impressed, sir. You will be impressed.
Definitely, I love games like that, so I'll definitely jump in. There's just too many games, man. There's just too many games coming out. I'm gonna be so busy. But when it does, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Xbox has no games. What are you talking about? So
Actually, Xbox got no games. I keep correcting you guys, but you guys keep insisting on saying it wrong.
And that's dead. I
Wait.
mean,
Wait a minute. So this is why
Has is the correct grammar.
like wait a second. So this is why by the end of every episode you say that just to correct us, and you think maybe
Yes,
right.
because people always said Xbox got no games. And so when I hear people say it with correct grammar, I don't know why it's funny to me, because when I hear the fanboys say it, it's always got no games. So I still like correcting it. Like, no, that's not how I used to say it.
That's not how you say it. So I will be just repeating that by the end of every episode, just to maybe
Just to let people know you're saying it wrong. It's got no games.
so Square Enix has made a public announcement that they have no plans to stop continuing their exclusive deals with PlayStation. So at this point, we're probably never going to get another Final Fantasy on anything but a PlayStation.
Wow, it hurts.
Yeah. Apparently they don't like money. Or
They do. They just like guaranteed money.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know a lot of gamers not on that platform that would love to play Final Fantasy, and they would buy it. They would buy it in a heartbeat.
Final Fantasy comes out every generation, maybe once. I don't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah.
I'm just being cynical, but at the same time, I stopped playing Final Fantasy decades ago. I mean, what? PlayStation 2? Yeah, I don't even think PlayStation 3. It's just, I'm not saying it hasn't been good. It's just a long, stinking game, and I'm not for the RPGs to spend 300 hours on story and having to grind and make your characters better and everything. Not anymore. I'm sorry, but I heard this was the newer ones are shorter. Then I will admit 16 looks good. 16 does look good.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like playing a game that I could have spent time playing 3 other games, anymore.
Hey, shout out to 2PadStack7 and Sly Gamer for hopping in the chat. Welcome. It's great to see you all. But yeah, I always felt like the Final Fantasy games were just. Did we ever get anywhere in the story, or is it just? I just
It's
feel
always
like
a
we're
different
still
story.
battling. We're still battling towards the same thing. What's going on? Is this ever going
It's
to
always a
end?
different story. It's never the same. Well, not never, because I know that they competed once, but it's almost never the same story. It takes place in the same universe, but it's not even consistent even when it comes to that.
Are they the
As far
same
as like
characters at least?
No.
only that one time that I can remember,
I
which
mean,
was
'cause
Lightning.
whatever happened to
Yeah, I
Cloud?
think it was 9.
Cloud on Final Fantasy VII. I played Final
Oh,
Fantasy
he was.
VII.
Whatever happened in Final Fantasy VII stayed in Final Fantasy VII.
Stop the
It just doesn't
press.
continue.
John
That's
Blue
why
is in
Final
our
Fantasy.
chat. I've got to mark this on the calendar, Ultimus. John Blue's in our chat, brother. Oh my goodness.
That's
John
true.
Blue.
Down in a
My
minute.
good friend.
Write it
Yeah,
down.
Blue.
Oh my goodness.
My partner in crime right there.
I may have included him in a tweet saying that my heart would stop the day he jumped in our live chat. So
And he
Like
wasn't.
blue ball.
He wasn't
He is
come to-
very busy, guys. He's very
How's
busy.
your
He's got a
heart?
family to take
well,
care
we
of.
do appreciate you dropping in the chat, John. It's great to see you. Long time no talk. Got to catch up sometime, brother. It's been a long time. Ultimus, I'm gonna let you, unless our guest Colteastwood has anything to say about Square saying that they plan on doing exclusive deals with PlayStation. Do you think they're just not realizing the amount of money that they're missing, sir?
Well, I mean, it's not that difficult. PlayStation just says, "Look, we'll pay you this much up front to be on PlayStation and PC only," and then Square Enix just has to look. How many do we think we're going to sell on Xbox? Yeah, well, the PlayStation deal sounds better. And
could be
they've
so much
just
more.
partnered with PlayStation for a long time, so why wouldn't they take it? But it's just hilarious when their sales tank and they're like, we don't know what happens. Like, well, you struck a deal with
Yeah.
PlayStation and you didn't
Yeah.
get to sell other places. And we've seen what they've done in the past is they've put their game on Game Pass, and then they see a massive spike of engagement. You get more people playing, more people talking, and it's way more powerful than whatever sales they get on PlayStation only. Because PC guys just steal their game.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't think PC guys steal games that much anymore, but because
It's
you
called
get such great
pirating.
deals. Yeah. But they're just shooting themselves in the foot, I guess. But I mean, they're getting a nice paycheck from PlayStation, but then they don't get to brag about sales because they've limited their sales and limited their players. So they can have
that's
Final
what we-
Fantasy 16, 14, 7 retrograde, 7 remake, such a Ragnarok or whatever they call the Final Fantasy 7 games. I don't play them. I played Final Fantasy 15, went all the way through it, and I was like, oh, it was a big chore. I didn't love it. So it's not my type of game. So I'm not gonna be out there, banging on a sandwich board saying, bring this game to Xbox, because I don't care.
Isn't that the one with the boy band? Is that the one 15?
Yeah, the Backstreet Boys one. Yeah, the
That's
game
it.
drove me crazy.
Yeah, that's it.
I just don't like that style of game at all. But it's got some epic big moments, like when you release your ultimate power. It's like, wow, that's really cool. But, stop at a gas station and get some noodles. It's weird. It's a different thing. I'm not used to
talking
it.
about the Final Fantasy where they're all kind of cruising around in a
Oh, yeah.
convertible, all sitting, chilling out
Uh-huh.
in the back seat, like we're still living in Surfing USA.
Yeah, it's got a vibe though. Like I could respect part of it, and it is pretty cool. When I'm just kind of making fun of it about how you go to the gas station, you order noodles that buff your characters. It's actually kind of a cool thing, but the game overall just kind of drives me nuts. It's just kind of really obnoxious for me. But I know people love Final Fantasy. But here's the thing, guys. When you don't care for something, you just say, I'm not really a fan, and then you walk off. But I get people who jump in every one of my tweets to tell me they don't like Xbox. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like the Redfall always online thing, like it went on and on and on. The same people over and over tell me that game's trash, it's always online. It's like, dude, if you don't like something, you speak up once or twice, say your piece, and move on with your life, because hopefully you have more things going on than that. Yeah, for sure.
Either way, on Redfall, the developers have already said that they're actually they're working right now to make sure that it's not always online anymore. They heard what people said, and they're actually
Yeah.
working to fix it now. So that argument's not even there anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
So
they're
is
not going
that
to
big
have it
deal?
at launch, and maybe it's 6 months or a year later when nobody cares. But
Yeah.
they should have. I'm sure they heard that voice at the very beginning when they announced that, and they've been talking about how long is it going to take. And the team's like, well, we need to get the game out, and it needs to run, and it needs to, it needs to work before we go throwing a wrench in the gears. But
nobody will care. You heard it here
nobody will
first.
care when it's done. But
Agreed.
I think it's really about it's a platform or it's a system wide. I don't know what the word is for that because they're on PC. They're on Steam, Windows, and Xbox consoles and xCloud, and they wanted a catch-all DRM to make sure that somebody didn't pirate the game, and then the system just runs across. But they also just want to have everything connected so that they can keep all the stats and everything going. But other games do it without requiring you to be online to play by yourself. But anyway.
Yeah. So we have 2 topics left for the show tonight, and one was brought up by Ultimus Gaming that I completely whiffed on. I didn't even notice it, and this is with Call of Duty's domination mode recreated in Fortnite's new creative mode with Rust elements. Sir, can you clue us into this? Because I'm completely lost. I haven't even got a chance to look at the article. What is it all about, and what does it mean?
So my friends talked to me a little bit ago, and they were telling me all about it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't play Fortnite that much. Just not my game, never has been. And they're like, bro, you got to see this. And I saw the video, and it was really cool. You're in Fortnite. It's with the Unreal Engine 5 update, and you're fighting this robot. I'm like, this looks really cool. It looks really, really realistic and sick. And so that actually came out with Fortnite's, I believe, new 2.5 or something creative mode. And now it has like a lot of tools where you can like create pretty much anything you want in Fortnite. Like I went on this one single player experience where you're like there's a dragon or something. It's really cool. And so I played this domination mode because they were like, you got to play it. I'm like, fine. And it's like a third person Call of Duty in Fortnite, and it's actually really cool. The map is beautiful. I feel like I'm actually playing a Call of Duty game. It's pretty much dead on. And this is in Fortnite. This is just made by somebody, overnight. It was very impressive. I had never seen anything like it.
So Fortnite has a creative mode, like kind of like Halo's Forge, I guess, is the closest thing I can relate to.
It's always had one.
Yeah,
Like, it's had
this
one for
one's just-
forever. But this
Yeah,
is
it's
like
had
another
one.
level.
I've
It's
never
had
noticed
one,
that.
but this is like a lot more tools, and now you can put in like your own designs or whatever, your own can't remember what it's called, assets or whatever. And then you could also create your own cutscenes in it as well when you start the game. You could put that all in yourself and do whatever you want. Very impressive. It's like Forge on steroids. It's very nice.
I find
That's part
Fortnite
of the
really fun
free-to-play
with
mode?
friends, but other than that, I can't play it by myself. So
That's because Bobby's really good at the game and he likes to flex.
that's right. I do
played
like
with
to
Bob
flex.
and-
I like my friends
Bob
to
and-
see me.
Bob in 4K and man, I was just watching them play basically. I was like, man, these guys are good.
Well, thank you. I mean, wow. So last topic of the show. I've seen on Twitter where people have gone as far as to start comparing games from one platform to another in a certain release window as this is our answer for that, or this is our answer for that. And I saw one yesterday where somebody said that we'll work on a Call of Duty alternative. In the meantime, here's Spider-Man 2, our answer for Starfield. Like, really? I mean, these two games they can't relate to each other on any plane other than the window that they're releasing in. And I had to comment back to the guy that said it. Do you realize that you're talking about the behemoth known as Bethesda in the RPG space. And let's not forget, Skyrim sold 12 million copies in 7 days. It was like, well, this is a different time. Well, okay. So in that respect, I do believe that from Sony's side, we always hear about sales numbers, and Microsoft never releases sales numbers. I think Microsoft, as kind of a rebuttal this fall to the gaming landscape, they need to make it publicly known player engagement to Starfield. I believe that would really help to even the ship, to write it. And okay, well, you sold this many copies, and we can't really go off of sales because we've got 4 million people playing on Game Pass. But here, go. This is how many people we've had playing, not necessarily buying, but playing. Does this? Am I the only one that this stuff gets on their nerves, where we just tag one game against another one and say this is our answer, and the two games have absolutely nothing to do with each other? Feel free to chime in, Mr. Bush.
Yeah, it used to, not anymore, because I started to realize that their arguments are disingenuous, and then when you counter their argument, they found another argument to add to that argument. So, no, not anymore, because when it came to trolling, I don't know what it is with me as a human being. I have some light bulb that doesn't flicker properly, or whatever you want to say, but I like getting these people's skin, and it's after a while, though, it stops being fun. And when you start to, when you display stupidity, then I'm frustrated, because now it's not funny anymore. If people would have figured that out about me a long time ago, I would have stopped trolling a long time ago. But I just think that most people really do believe what they're saying at that moment, as far as how they view it. But it's not. It's just going to be a conversation that's going to switch every single solitary time, no matter how good your point is, or how good their point is. Even if you counter it, it's not gonna be a debate. It's just going to be me just trying to, well, not me, but them just trying to thumb their nose at you, and say that nah, that's just it. But that's what the thing that annoys me about fanboys, that gaming isn't about me enjoying the game. Or when I say me, I mean them. It's about me being able to have my self-esteem tied to it. It's about, which is really lame, but it's about that, and being able to say you don't have it. And when you say, well, I have consoles, they're like, well, you're stupid for buying. Somebody literally said it to me before too. They said, you're stupid for buying both of them. And I was like, why? They was like, because you're not going to play them both equally. I was like, okay, which I agree. I'm not. But still, though, like, I have both, so I don't even sound like anything. They're like, hey, you're still stupid. And so it just showed me the immaturity, like, they don't care. So it doesn't bother me anymore when I see stupid stuff like that, because I understand the maturity level now, so it doesn't bother me.
Noof Nukem, sir, the unbiased panel member I like to call.
I got biased, don't worry.
Oh. And they're not against Game Pass anymore. Woohoo!
Everybody has biases.
Oh, it's just Spider-Man 2 being called the answer to Starfield, and it wasn't the answer until it looked like it was going to be released within the same window.
No, dude, that's such a dumb statement. Look, Spider-Man is going to sell like gangbusters. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. It's Spider-Man 2. It's coming off, one of the best superhero games, and certainly one of the most successful, platform games or games that Sony's put out in years. It also helps. Insomniac makes great games regardless of the properties associated with it, but it just was fortunate enough that they actually did make a very solid game around one of the most popular superhero characters of all time. Spider-Man was amazing. Miles Morales was amazing. And I'm excited for the new Spider-Man 2. I think a lot of us will be playing it this fall, those of us who have a PlayStation platform to play it on. But to call it a Starfield answer to Starfield, no. I mean, like I said, they're two different completely games. And on top of that, Starfield is the first, major Bethesda game in quite some time, certainly of this ilk. And people are super excited about it. And it's going to also sell and be played by gangbusters. Like I said, obviously the measure of successes will be different. Sony's going to largely gauge Spider-Man based on copies sold, and they're going to base it on consoles moved. I don't know if they'll do a special edition PlayStation or not. They did with the PS4 Pro, but who knows? Maybe not. But they're going to gauge a totally different metric. We're going to see absolutely insane engagement from the Xbox community over on Xbox platforms or on the PC. That's something we can count on. You're going to see people in droves playing this game night in, night out, and perhaps for the next how many months. So that is what's fantastic. And I think you're also going to see a massive surge in Game Pass subscriptions for those who aren't initiated. A lot of people will be coming on board to get a taste of the Starfield game, which, for all intents and purposes, from what I've seen, what I've heard, is shaping up to be a fantastic game and perhaps a pinnacle game for many, many years to come. So it's a weird statement. There's so different things. It's like comparing an apple to an orange, man. They might be round or fairly round, but they're two completely different things. And they're both going to be very successful. And the fact that they're coming out within the same window, sure, maybe coincidental, but I think that might be part of Sony's plan, is to kind of steal a little bit of that thunder, right? To take some eyes away from Game Pass, to take some eyes away from Starfield, because they know people are going to jump in. But see, that's the thing. If you're a multi-platform owner, you're probably going to buy them both anyway. And you know what? It's a bonus because you just saved $80 or $90 or whatever the hell it is. If you're on Game Pass, there you go. You just saved your money. You can spend it on Spider-Man 2, which in Sony's book is kind of a win-win and a win-win for gamers, I guess, right?
That's so weird hearing you promote Game Pass. It really is.
So do we think we're going to see an even engagement between the two games for the first few weeks, and then see Spider-Man taper off a bit and Starfield continue to rise just because of the types of games they are? Or do you think it's going to remain steady throughout the holidays? I mean, because they did it with God of War Ragnarok, and I honestly believe that they're going to bundle Spider-Man 2 with the PS5 to help pad sales like they did with Ragnarok. And do we think we're going to see, when's player engagement going to drop off? Because I know with the last games that I've played from Bethesda, I was playing them for months until I got everything done.
Yep. I've got like 400 hours in Fallout 4 on Xbox, and then about 100 plus hours on PC for Fallout 4.
Serious right there. Those are some serious hours.
Well, we're talking about one world versus one world in one game versus one game that's going to have multiple planets, multiple worlds.
Here's the problem that I hear nobody complain about. Spider-Man in 2018 was was my de facto favorite game on PlayStation in 2018 over God of War 2018. Spider-Man was easily my favorite. And it was in my top 3 that year, next to Red Dead and Forza Horizon 4. Like, it was a really good year. And what people aren't talking about is this is the 3rd Spider-Man game in 5 years. We've had more Spider-Man games than we've had Forza games. And that includes Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport in the past 5 years. So we had Spider-Man 2018, 2020 Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, don't tell me that was DLC to get out of this argument, because that was a full-fledged standalone game. Because if we called it, if Xbox fans called it DLC, we would get harassed, right? So you get Spider-Man 2018, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man 2, which I almost want to call Spider-Man 3 at this point, all quite possibly all in the very same map we've already played in twice. Now, do you guys think that we're going to get in the game and it's going to be a totally different segment of of New York, away from Central Park, away
No.
from Manhattan?
No.
Or is it going to be the same open world we've already played? Because
Yep.
the game has only been in development for about 2 or 3 years. And are we going to get the same Manhattan and Brooklyn boroughs and the same, Central Park, and
Yep.
then you just go into these dungeons, which is really what they are, these underground or inside warehouses for main missions. I'm not sure, but I think that's probably what we're looking at. I'm not super excited for Spider-Man 2 because
Me either,
when I played Miles
unfortunately.
Morales, I was like, man, I just did this.
This is
And
the same
I've dipped into Spider-Man 2018. I played like part of the game, like again, like I started it over. I played it. I had my son play it, and I played part of his save for a while. And then when Miles Morales came out, I was like, I got into it. I'm like, I'm not feeling this. I just did this. And you can get that with Forza Horizon, but we had to wait a little while.
They better come up with something to make it feel a little bit more fresh, or it's going to get stagnant pretty quick. I mean, there's only so many times you can play the same city with the same environment, and you're just going to toss in some new enemies and call it a day. That's, you know what I mean?
Well, what helped
I mean,
Miles
and they
Morales
could-
for me was the fact that he had different powers and you could approach things differently. So that was the only thing, because I said the same thing, Cole. I felt like I just did this, so I wasn't really excited for it, but I played it because my grandson wanted to play it. Yes, I have a grandson, and he loves the series because he's new to superheroes and everything. He's not even 12 yet, but I played it because when I saw I remembered that Miles had different powers, but I still wasn't really hyped for it. But once I saw it in action, I was like, wait a minute, that might be a little fun to approach things this way, and with the invisibility and the shock ability and everything. And it did add to it. But after that,
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing with this one. It's like, I mean, unless I get to become Venom some kind of way later on, I can't really. I mean, I'm gonna keep everything not optimistic, skeptical to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, Insomniac's not going to flounder on this. Like, they know what
No.
they're doing. They're amazing. They're one of the best developers. But, maybe you'll go into the main map, and they've opened up a new section of the city where most of the stuff will happen, but you can still go to the other part of the map and do some of the open world stuff. I don't know what they're going to do, but I had the same feeling when I was playing God of War Ragnarok. I'm like, man, I felt like I just did this. I'd already kind of played through the PS5 enhanced version of God of War 2018. I get into God of War Ragnarok, and they mix things up, which they're mixing it up almost exactly the same, where you'll be able to play as Miles and Peter in the new ones, as far as we can guess, right? But the difference is Insomniac averages around an 86, maybe an 87 on their aggregate score of their games. And the Spider-Man games have never gone over 88, I think maybe 87. So I expect to get a high 80 on Spider-Man 2. I'm sure it'll get like an 88 or an 87, maybe an 89, because this is going to be a big game. But Starfield is a whole different experience. This is the predecessor to Skyrim, basically, because they have taken a massive RPG and they've learned from what they did with Fallout 4, and I'm sure there's going to be all these. They've showed us some of these RPG features. This is going to be the game everyone is talking about. Like, when you go to work and no one you work with likes to talk about video games, they will not be talking about Spider-Man. Someone will be bringing up Starfield. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be amazing. When listening to Todd Howard talk about it, like, there's only so much smoke and mirrors you can give a fan like me who's played just about everything for so many years. But I can feel it when they're talking, like they know this game's going to be a big deal. And Dimmer in the chat was saying, you have all these Batman games. You can't just take it away from Gotham City. Then it's not a Batman game. But they made 3 bespoke Batman games, and they were all, well, I guess they made 4 of them. They were all in a different version of the city. They made a whole new map for, well, Batman Arkham City is when you're actually outside of Arkham Asylum, but Batman Arkham City was a whole map. Arkham Knight was a whole new map. And then Arkham Origins, I don't remember if they repurposed anything, but somebody can help me on that one. But
It was still different. It just was a different design. It didn't look nowhere near the same, though. It was nowhere near the same. And matter of fact, the gameplay changed to the point where when you would fight against one of the Rose Gallery that you fight them one-on-one. It was a completely different change. I'm actually hyped to play the remake or remaster because of that. But yeah, it was a different approach to it also. So it wasn't the same. Spider-Man, unfortunately, like you just said, 1 and 2, it takes place with the same assets in the same place, and you're doing the same thing. And I'm not dumping on Spider-Man at all, not even a little bit. But it is what it is when like you said, when you get the game or the game is coming out, and your first mindset is, I just feel like I just did this just like a year ago. I'm like that with Assassin's Creed. Like, I love Assassin's Creed, but I'm always a year or 2 behind because I feel like I just did this. So I play it later on. I haven't even played Valhalla yet. So, yeah, it is that. I do agree with that. That is the mindset you go in.
Oh, I got a question for you. How important, though, do you think a great Metacritic score, great reviewer reception is for Starfield compared to perhaps other games? This is the first Bethesda game essentially.
I mean, Metacritic
is that a make or break? The game's going to be successful without a doubt, right? But we all know that. That's not a question. But everybody wants to know, or everybody's probably wondering. Hopefully, cross their fingers that this game comes out and scores very high. Because I think it almost needs it. I hate to say that, but I think it almost does at this point.
I agree with you. And I've told people for years that Metacritic doesn't matter, or it's meaningless on its own. It is completely meaningless, especially mostly to fans, right? Like, why would that matter unless you need a bragging point on your social media or your forum you're on, right? So Metacritic's really super important when you pair it with a friend or a reviewer you really usually line up with, not trust, like someone you line up, because I trust SkillUp, but lately SkillUp's reviews have not agreed with a game that he didn't like that I loved, and I still think the guy's amazing and he does really good content, but after a little while I'm like, his stuff doesn't line up with what I like, so I don't use him for reviews. I just watch his stuff. Like, he's not a make or break. But, it's so important not to use Metacritic on its own. But Noof's right. It is going to be a big deal because, and I'll say this now, that if Starfield doesn't get a 90, which I don't think it will, I think Starfield's going to sit right at an 88, maybe an 89. That if it doesn't get a 90, none of this will matter. The perception of the PlayStation fans or the anti-Xbox people or the media that has like a double standard, an 88 or an 87 will be a complete fail, even if it gets the same score as Spider-Man 2. And book it right here. If Starfield and Spider-Man come out a week or 2 apart and they're both 87 Metacritics, Starfield will be in the headlines forever for being a failed, the hype was too high, it didn't hit. And that's exactly how it'll be, even with some, so to speak, trusted media review sites. That will be huge reader service for them to say, we waited 25 years for this game, and it didn't hit it out of the park when, apparently neither did Spider-Man, but no, I don't know. That's just kind of how it's going to be. And back in 2018, I made a video that really ticked off the PlayStation guys. I said, let's predict what the review score is going to be for Spider-Man and Forza Horizon 4. And they were so mad. They're like, how could you possibly compare 2 games, a racing game and an open world action adventure game? And I was like, we're just going to compare. And I said it at the beginning of the video. I know it sounds weird. We're just going to talk about what do we think these games are going to score based off of the previous studio's work and the trajectory of these franchises. And I broke it down. I did all the math. I added in a couple factors, and I was like 1 point off on both games. I think I said that that Forza Horizon 4 would get a 91, got a 92, and I said Spider-Man would get an 85, and it got an 86 or something. But I did that based off all of Insomniac's games, because you can only, maybe you can only get so good as you can. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I loved both of those games that year, but some people can't see past that. They really they need that Metacritic score, and sometimes I do too.
Colt,
what can I say?
Colt, that's almost like comparing Spider-Man 2 to Starfield, sir.
I mean, I would love to actually do that video. I've thought about it. I got so much heat for it. And, you know, when I make these videos, like I write a script. So I make sure that all my bases are covered and all my T's are crossed, and that I've given the disclaimers that, yes, these are two different genres, but these are two first-party games from competing platforms releasing right next to each other. And how are they going to do? And, you know, some people couldn't get past that.
Yeah,
it really upset them.
They didn't hear that part.
Yeah, they don't listen. They look at the thumbnail. I made a great thumbnail. It was the McLaren from Forza Horizon 4, the blue one, and Spider-Man doing the 3-point landing right on the hood. And I put his reflection on the hood, and it said Spider-Man versus Forza Horizon 4 review scores or something like that. And boy, well, that was a great thumbnail. I actually didn't write anything on the thumbnail, but yeah, that's just people get crazy.
Spider-Man's at least got two predecessors going for it that were obviously critically well received and big hits. So right off the bat, it's got, you know, it carries over that pedigree. Starfield has nothing to base on unless you're just going to base it on, you know, the past games that Bethesda's put out, which in a lot of people's opinions are very hit and miss. Because I mean,
they're not though. They're not. Just Fallout 76 is the miss. You know, Skyrim is like a 96 meta. Fallout 4 is a 86 and 80. I think it's an 88. Fallout 4 is. So if you do the aggregate, you know, you should get an 88 out of Starfield as long as Bethesda Softworks doesn't do anything like really psychotic in their decision making. But
just remember, they're now owned by Xbox.
Yeah, Fallout 4 got an 80.
And that's gonna. As I said, you can already see the review bombs coming, right? The Starfield review bombs. They're already. I bet you there's media journalists already got 10-page documents already written up, and the game's not even out yet. It's like pre-written. They're just waiting to go. Starfield. Yeah, the massive game that was a massive disappointment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Fallout 4 is an 88 on OpenCritic, where it covers PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and So. And I maybe on Xbox's Metacritic, I haven't. But then it always depends on how many people reviewed it. Back in the Xbox One generation and now, you'll get about 25% of the reviews will be on Xbox and the rest will be on PlayStation.
Yeah, this was on PlayStation. I was reading off too. That was 87. On the PS4 is 87. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember the numbers. I remember them as good as I can. But people were like, Noof just said it. Like, Bethesda's games are hit or miss. No, actually, they are always a complete hit. Except for, and I love saying this, except for Fallout 76, a game I cannot stand. I am a huge Fallout 4 fan. Fallout 76, I almost completely hate it. I think it's terrible. And I watched Pete Hines.
But I hear it's gotten a lot. No. I haven't played it since shortly after release. And I keep seeing how it's gotten so much better, and I don't know what they mean.
A lot of people I know played it.
I've tried it.
It's actually good.
I've reinstalled it like 5 times over the past 4 years. I've reinstalled it like every time everyone said it's been massively upgraded, I'll reinstall it, I'll play it. Then like now it has FPS boost, and I play it, and then I just get frustrated because it sucks because it's a terrible game. And then I uninstall it. Then a really good friend of mine, Dante Moody's like, bro, I cannot stop playing this. Let's play it co-op. We played one night, we had some fun, but then I get back into the game, and I'm like, I don't like it. But I watched Pete Hines say, No, don't get excited. This is not a full game, is what he told everyone at like Gamescom. And then if you read between the lines, Todd Howard and Pete Hines have basically kind of said, in the nicest way possible, you know, we really apologize for making this game. We tried some, it didn't work. We're trying to make it better. Like that's almost what they say in their PR. Like they've continued to support the game, but they know exactly what it is, and they made a big mistake.
Yeah, some people say it was a cash grab by the studio, knowing that they were going to sell. It does fit, you know, the mindset of the execs at Bethesda, especially knowing that they wanted to sell, and they have a really bad history of, let's say, not treating the fans right. That helped to build mods and so forth. But in this instance, that game right there smacks of a cash grab because of the fact that it's not even made by the main team, but the game just isn't. It just isn't to the
It's
peak.
not what you'd expect from
Right.
Bethesda Softworks, and it's
Right.
not. It's made by their Austin team in Texas, which is like their
Right.
B team, and
Yeah.
they lent some help to it. But Dealer reported like a year or two ago when we were on RDX about how he heard that Fallout 76 and Wolfenstein Youngblood were just like, let's get some of the B team on these games. Let's get something out and make some money before we sell. Because they didn't know where they were going. They didn't know Microsoft was going to come in and buy them. That would have been a totally different situation. But it was a desperate move, and they had a bad 2019 because of it.
Yeah. Well, they had a little hit with, they try things. Like they had a hit with mobile with Fallout. What was the mobile one?
Shelter.
Fallout Shelter. They had
Shelter,
a massive mobile hit there, and I don't blame them for trying. But like I said, that game was only popular largely because of the name behind it, and otherwise that game could have just been called Nuclear Test Site or some shit. And you know what I mean? It's just, yeah. I tried getting into it, and it took me years, and I tried it just recently, and I just like, no, this is not working for me. It was just too resourced, too gringy. I don't know. It just didn't feel like the same Fallouts before it to me.
And it's ugly. It's like the ugliest game on the Xbox platform. It is so nasty, ugly looking. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
It's bad. People are like, Colt, because I did a video about Bethesda stuff, and at the end I just told people in the camera, I said, I've tried. I just absolutely do not like this game. And I saw lots of people like really being cool saying, Colt, you got to give the game another shot. And I'm like, I tried it 5 or 6 times, but why are we talking about Fallout 76? Starfield's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Starfield's going to be the game that really moves people's. They're going to be talking. They're going to be moving their hands, and they're going to be talking about Starfield. It's going to be a big deal, and I cannot wait to play it. And we don't get games like this. I'm a fan of No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky doesn't do an 80th% of what Starfield is going to be doing. Doesn't have mainline quests, doesn't have all this character stuff. It does its own thing. And I've looked in, everyone's like, oh, we have Star Citizen. I'm like, no, you don't. That game's still not out. It's been like 15 years. And what is out is not a great game. Not at all. So
yeah, that's a shame that what it's supposed to be. Coming through to as of should have been out, but that game should have been amazing, and we still don't know anything about anything with that game too. And no, you don't have Star Citizen, and I loved No Man's Sky, but there was a point where I felt like I've already done this, so I don't feel any reason to keep playing. But when I look at Starfield, and I look at some of the things that start. Now, don't get me wrong, too. I'm not dumping on No Man's Sky because they've added some new stuff recently, too. As far as
cool
like
game.
combat and so forth. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But put a bigger budget on it and add everything that you would love to have with it now, and say that's Starfield. That's how I look at it, and I think that Starfield. I think this one, I'm gonna go on a limb right now, and I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be like a 92. I'm not saying this as a fanboy, but I think that you have a lot more sci-fi fans, and if they execute this as well as they do anything else, I think it'll be a 90 to 92. I really think it'll break the streak of the high 80s and be in the very low 90s this time around. But maybe a little fanboyism in it because I really am hyped for that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Before the delay. Okay, so if they had stuck with their fall 2022 release of Starfield, yes, I have to say that the nervousness of us seeing a repeat of a buggy mess that we saw with other Bethesda games was a real worry. But after the delay, the 12-month delay, and then we get another delay that's going to push it farther than 12 months to September. After these, and then not only that, after seeing it getting played in the background in the last Bethesda video where Tom Howard is talking and it's being played in the background, which for those that don't know, that was bug testing. It's usually what they do. They're sitting there and they're playing through the game and trying different things, different ways, looking for a game-killing bug, pretty much. Before all of this, and I know that I can speak honestly for everybody, that the worries were real. But now I think this thing is going to be the most polished Bethesda game that they've ever released. And I'm psyched more now after a delay from Bethesda than I would have been psyched getting it as early as we could have got it. Because I really think they need to change the mantra that Fallout 76 has given them. And not only Fallout 76, but some of the bugs that we saw in Skyrim and in Fallout 4, although they weren't game ending, it still was kind of messy. I think they really want to paint a new picture of Bethesda GameWorks with this release, and I know we're going to see
I mean, I played enough Fallout games to know they might have more bugs in most games, but it is such an exaggeration when people talk about Bugthesda. I actually had an Xbox problem that was my only problem that held me from continuing for a few days when Fallout 4 was fairly new. It was your game sync, your cloud sync, when you would load up the game and it would like have that progress bar across your TV. It would go over and over and over, and I couldn't get into my game. I think it was part of a system problem on the console, but people super exaggerate the bugs. Of course, there's annoying weird things, but I would say this would be their most polished game, and I gotta go because I'm about worn out here on this. My arm's gonna fall off.
Yeah,
but I would say that
we're getting ready
that Starfield would not have seen this delay if they weren't under the leadership of Xbox right now. And I've heard people tell me that without a doubt, Todd Howard would have shipped this game, this spring. And Xbox has really pleaded with them and guided them to make it the best it can be, even if it meant upsetting the fans with delays. And I think we have a lot to look forward to, and the game's going to be much better off for it. And probably performance-wise, maybe the game was going to be 30 frames. I really believe it's going to be 60. But that's a whole other discussion on another night, I guess.
Yeah.
But we have a lot to look forward to.
Yes, we do. And with that, we're going to close out. This has officially been the longest episode of Game Set Live we have ever done. We are approaching the 2 hour and 20-minute mark. So, yeah, it is time to go.
It's going to be shorter than Starfield. You better take some time off of work when that game drops.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I may. You never know. Depends on how bad I need the money at the time.
Shut up, Red Wolf. He says 30 is filmic. You're gonna think
God,
filmic.
he's
You
still
know
on
you
that.
like filmic.
Let me get. Can I give a little outro?
Yeah. Colt Eastwood, sir. Plug
let
yourself.
Me just say, like, I've been friends with a lot of people here in the chat and on this show for a long time, and I really appreciate you guys being patient and having me on here. And KY Bob and I've been talking for like the past 4 years or something.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. And it's really cool you guys are doing this show, and it's so great to just sit down with the people that you game with and talk about like the industry. And thank you so much for having me on. And I'm sure you guys are subbed already, but thank you guys for all your support and everybody who does this. It's not easy work. It's not easy work to turn on a mic and talk about this stuff and get called out if you're wrong and hope that people listen. But everybody who listens to our shows, we really appreciate it. And everybody's here in the chat. Like, it really means a lot. Thank you so much.
Where can people find you at, Mr. Eastwood?
Just Colt Eastwood, one word. I'm there on YouTube and Twitter mostly. I'm on Twitter just making memes.
Yeah. I love those memes.
But I was on Red Wolf's channel too, and they've become, all those guys have become friends, and we hang out and just laugh our faces off and just kind of get away from the tough parts of the world. And you guys did that tonight with my sore shoulder, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Red Wolf is a friend of this show as well. We've had him on here twice. We can't get enough of Stewie. I have
He's,
to.
he's
be honest.
hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you get you and Red Wolf going on their voices, and then it's over. It's never.
Yeah, 3 episodes ago we had Arnold Schwarzenegger going at Stewie, and Stewie was hitting on Arnold. It was hilarious.
Yeah. We're all about it.
Oh goodness.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. All you guys do your outros. I got to get out of here, and I'm gonna go throw like 4 pounds of ice on my arm.
All right,
But
Colt.
real
thank you
quick,
so much.
Colt, I'm gonna
Joining us, Colt.
real
Right,
quick,
thanks,
Colt, I
guys.
do want to DM
Yeah.
you. I
Thanks
do
so
want
much,
to DM
Colt.
you and ask you a question because I wanted to move up when it comes to doing interviews. We just did some interviews with developers and everything, but I see you doing a huge job with interviews now. So I'll DM you later on and ask you a few questions
of
if you don't
course.
mind.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, send me a DM anytime.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Take care, Colt.
Thank
Rest
you,
of the
All right,
day.
later.
Colt. Get some rest, brother.
Thank you.
Very good.
Stinking Red Wolf.
Fabio
Yo.
Amorim?
Amorim.
Amorim.
Amarim.
Fabio Amorim. Sir, where can people find you at?
That was terrible.
No,
I'm
I'm trying, dog. I'm trying.
he's getting there. He will get it sometime. So
Yeah, I
far,
don't
you
think
can
so.
call me MRM as you called me before in the beginning of the show. So, yeah, you can find me here on the Game Set Live podcast. You can find me on Twitter as FBO Amorim97. You can find me on Xbox as Buffon Lizard 8, and you can find me as well on the XBN YouTube channel.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it when my guys get to plug their shit. I love it. Mr. Bushido N7, sir, where can people find you? And are you going to be on any podcasts upcoming?
No, not the podcast I could remember of. No, yeah, me and you're gonna be on the Red Wolf Renegade podcast. I still think that's a mistake for them to have us both on at the same time. You know, it's just a clash of ego and humility. You know, with your ego and my humility, it's just not gonna work together. Anyway, so yes, and also too, I think that's gonna be fun though, because I think we and you've done about 2 other podcasts together. I think, if I'm correct. Anyway, so that, and you can find me on Xbox, PlayStation, and the Twitters, Mr. Bushido N7, and that's about it. You know, I'm not as busy as I used to. Once things get back to normal, then I'll we'll see what happens.
Well, you got another thing coming, Mr. Bushido, because there's a collaboration happen next week. We're gonna be on theirs, and they're gonna be on ours. Mm-hmm.
What? They gonna be on ours too?
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring 2 together, brother, all week long. Mm-hmm.
Like peanut butter and chocolate?
I'm more of a Nutella guy, but yeah, whatever works.
Oh,
Noof Nukem, sir, where can people find you at?
Yeah, man. Where can you find me? Well, after this Sunday, and not a whole lot of places anymore, other than being here with you fantastic folks here on Game Set Live. And again, shout out to Colt, and thanks for him for coming on. I remember doing a podcast with Colt when the man had 11,000 subscribers on his channel. He came over and did a little lesser known podcast that I had started at the time called Goofing with Noof, and I'd basically just have one person on with me. We'd talk about gaming. We'd actually be playing a game while basically doing the podcast, and I think at the time we played Borderlands 2, if I remember correctly, but it was a great time, and that's how far things have evolved, and just again, unbelievable where the time goes. You know what I mean? But on Sunday, final episode of Good Morning Xbox, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm not leaving the podcast community. I'm not calling it quits or giving anything up. I'm just restructuring a few things and probably going to refocus on a different venture. We'll see how that goes. I got a few things in mind which I think were going to be quite good, but I am stepping away from that particular podcast. If Axel 1324, one of my co-panel members, continues, he wants to continue on with it, he is certainly more than welcome. But they have not indicated that that is the case. So we're gonna say farewell to Good Morning Xbox after Sunday. I hope that we'll get a record turnout and people will come out and enjoy our final one as a panel. It should be a good time. But I'm going to try to do a lot more streaming over the next little while. Lots of games there. So Tuesday nights I'll probably do some streaming, and I've been on Twitch a little bit lately, trying to get back into that. Mostly been on YouTube, but anyway, I appreciate all the love and support, and do not fear. Noof Nukem will always be Noof Nukem. I am not a fraud. I am not a phony. I am not a damn effing pony, baby. I'm the one, the only Noof Nukem, and I love everything gaming. And like I've said to some people, I said, dude, I've had an Xbox podcast for years, and on all my Xbox podcasts, I've never spent the whole damn show shitting on PlayStation. So why would it be any different if I decide to do a PlayStation-focused podcast? I don't know, but I guess people just judge me because other people have so-called flip-flop. Well, I'm not other people. So don't judge me on something I haven't even done yet. Otherwise, shut your pie hole and come out for some fun and laughter and gaming talk with Noof.
That's right. This Noof Nukem in the house. We're not talking about MBG. We're not talking about Crap Gamer. We're talking about Noof Nukem, the guy that, when there's danger, yells, "Get to the chopper!" That's right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to tell you now, get to the podcast. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I'm not going to tell you again. Put the controller down. Put it down. Hit the like button. Do it.
All right. I love the energy Arnold brings. Oh, yeah. Ultimus Gaming, sir. Where can people find you, sir?
As usual, you could find me on Twitter at Ultimus Gaming, as you can always find me there tweeting it up, criticizing those who are hypocrites, and just saying the hard truth. You'll always find me there.
Yeah. Noof Nukem, Drawn TJ says it in the chat the best. Everyone loves you, Noof Nukem. Screw the haters.
All right.
Yeah.
Unless they happen to be attractive females, I'm glad you screwed them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. We'll leave that for another night. We'll have kind of like a date-a-thon one night, a speed dating on Game Set Live. Stay tuned.
He says speed dating. Wow.
Yeah. And this is your host, KY Bob. On all platforms, KY Bob. Twitter, KY Bob. And every Thursday on the KY Bob YouTube channel, trying to wrangle in this band of ruffians that I love so much as we talk games. Everybody have a good weekend, game on, and be safe. We'll see you next week.